In 2050, a virtual reality game called Immortals was created. She caused a huge stir. Everyone thought it was just a game, until one player discovered that game attributes can be transferred to the real world. Ascension to God is the way of becoming God. Upon reaching this level, players can challenge the gods. Whoever gets the victory will take the place of God. Ascension to God is the highest kingdom. Jiang Chen was a player in the role of a knight in armor. Covered in wounds, he was kneeling in front of the demon. The boy told the demon that if he lost, no one else could defeat the gods. The demon, who began to be dragged into the magic ring with the Yin and Yang symbol, shouted that the mortal was crazy and that this was not just a game. Closing his eyes, Jiang Chen replied that it really wasn't just a game. But he has his own reasons, so he doesn't regret anything. The next moment, the magic circle to which the demon was drawn exploded and shattered into pieces. One sharp fragment flew straight into the boy's head. An even more powerful explosion rang out. The foggy currents of yin and yang, forces through time and space, reached the body of the young boy who was sitting at the table and fell asleep over the computer. After a moment, Jiang Chen woke up and opened his eyes. A notification was received from the computer that the virtual reality game Immortals will soon launch its server. The system asked if there are people waiting for it. The boy looked around, trying to understand what was happening. He began to remember for the game Immortals, for the server, and for his character. And then, looking at himself, the boy puffed up and assumed that he had been reborn. Suddenly there was a knock at the door. Out of surprise, the boy jumped up on his chair. It was his neighbor, Xia Ruye. She entered the room with a box in her hands and asked why the boy had not opened the door for half a day. The girl asked what he was doing, and did he still need this thing? Jiang Chen's eyes lit up. He said that he really needed this thing and thanked the neighbor. The boy thought to himself that he must return to the game at any cost. Xia Ruya put the box on the table next to the computer. She was wearing a sexy black top and short shorts. The girl noticed that she was standing right in front of the boy, and he was thinking only about the game. At this time, a screensaver appeared on the computer screen with a girl dressed in a sexy cat costume, which announced that while the players are waiting, the kitten will dance, so they should not forget to collect gifts. Xia Ruya understood why Jiang Chen was ignoring her. Pointing to the screen, she wondered what he likes like this. The boy smiled and answered so that his sister would look carefully at herself. How could he not like girls in black underwear? Then Xia Ruya came as close as possible to the boy and, leaning towards him with her big bust, asked if he likes her. Jiang Chen blushed and thought that if she wore tight underwear, no one would resist her. Looking down at the girl's long legs, the boy said that the cloth could harm Sister Ruya's body. Xia Ruya grabbed Jiang Chen's face and turned her head towards the box, telling him to start. Let him play his game, and they will see each other later. Opening the box, the boy took out a virtual reality helmet. About himself, he noted that this is not just a game. On the computer screen, the cat girl announced that there were 3 seconds left before the launch of the God's server. The girl invited all the participants to start the countdown with her. As the countdown continued, Jiang Chen put on his helmet and prepared to play. The game logo appeared on the monitor, as well as the loading indicators of biometric authentication and character generation. Moving into the game, Jiang Chen found himself in front of a large gate. He thought about each player getting a random talent. Last time he had a rare talent, the boy wondered what would happen this time. A system prompt appeared, welcoming the player to the world of Immortals and announcing that each player would now have a talent. Talents are divided into ordinary, excellent, rare, excellent, and exceptional. Distribution has begun. Then a message appeared about the detection of special functions. An analysis was underway. The next message indicated that the analysis was successfully completed. The player was congratulated for receiving the main talent, Yin and Yang inversion. Jiang Chen was surprised. He did not know that there are black and white talents. It was interesting how this could happen. Then the characteristics appeared. Talent, inversion of Yin and Yang. The rarity is unknown. Effect. This talent could be used to give an ability the opposite effect. The strength of this effect increases as the player ascends. The guy carefully read the specifications. He thought about this opposite effect. Jiang Chen speculated that if he wanted to injure someone, a healing effect might occur. It was unclear how he could use it. Jiang Chen then smiled slyly and said that if we talk, then we should try something. When the system asked the player to choose a starting profession from the list, warrior, mage, priest, spellcaster, assassin, archer, knight, Jiang Chen exclaimed with a smile that he was choosing a priest. There was a bright flash of light. The system wished the boy success in his chosen profession and indicated that now the players call him by his name, Mortal. In the next moment, Jiang Chen was standing in the robes of a priest worn by other players of this profession in the game. Looking at himself, the boy noted that mortals can also kill gods. It was a clear, fine day. In the valley at the edge of the forest, a small village spread out, which consisted of 2 parts and was surrounded by high walls. The system welcomed the player to Rookie Village number 1001 and wished that the player's name would become famous in the world of Immortals. Jiang Chen found himself in a village square that was filled with other players, which, judging by their appearance, also got here for the first time. Some players raved about how believable the world was, that the visuals were gorgeous. Someone was asking if anyone had teamed up to hunt monsters, and someone was looking for an NPC to get a quest. Jiang Chen thought that he needed to find a place to test his talent first. In a past life, each novice attribute also had 10 points, but they will be valued differently according to profession bonuses and skill effects. In the characteristics of his character, the boy learned that the skill of inversion of Yin and Yang is unique. Profession, priest. Level, 1. Character condition, strength, dexterity, intelligence, 10 points each. Health, 100, condition 10 plus. Mana, 100, intelligence, plus 10. Ability power, 20, intelligence, plus 2. Attack power, 6, power, 0.5. Defense, strength, 6, strength, plus 0.5. Each profession has its own starting skill. Priest skill, healing spell, first level. That is, recovery is 20 points of health and 100% of magical power. Cooldown 5 seconds, requires 5 mana. The guy noted that there was no damage. The amount of treatment is not lower than the damage of other professions of the same level. There was a tip that you can apply your talent to this skill to get the opposite effect. The note says that the effect of using the talent increases the power of the skill by 50%. And after the 10th level, the power of the skill will increase by 100%. Jiang Chen took out a wooden staff with a stone on the top. He said that intelligence-based professions have their own 1% per second mana regeneration attribute. If you use only healing spells, then almost no mana will be wasted. Then, the boy decided to check and applied the skill. He raised his staff and shouted the name of his talent, Yin and Yang inversion. He asked that this exceptional talent not let him down. A system message appeared stating the reverse heal parameters at level 1. It stated that this effect reduces the target's health by 30 points. Cooldown, 5 seconds. Mana consumption is also 5 points. Jiang Chen understood that this was how damage was achieved. Healing spell adds 50% damage. As its level increases, this percentage will also increase. The boy thought that this talent was cooler than the one he had in his past life. He told himself that he would quickly rise to the level of God. And Jiang Chen noted that they would meet someone very soon. And now it's time for him to go to the red sheep. Many unusual sheep grazed on the pastures of the east side. They wore a red horn with a fiery pattern on their heads. This was the red sheep, Mob, which had the first level of power and danger. Seeing them, Jiang Chen noted that 2 hours after the server launch, a new special NPC will appear in the Rookie Village for only 1 hour. Players will be able to exchange the sheep's horns for a buff. This is a very good opportunity, so he should hurry. The boy thought that he had few horns in his past life and traded them for a standard buff, but this time, and Jiang Chen cast a healing spell on one of the sheep. The spell hit the sheep and took away 60 health points from it. The sheep got quite angry and rushed at the boy. Jiang Chen dodged the animal's attack very easily, and when it ran past him once more, the boy attacked it with a spell again, after which the sheep disappeared, leaving only the red horn in its place. Picking up the horn, the boy thought that it seemed to him that 4 spells would be enough to kill one sheep, so it would take him 2 hours. In the characteristics of the red horn of the sheep, it was stated that the legend says that this horn is used for sacrifices. 2 hours passed. During this time, Jiang Chen was able to overcome 8,000 sheep. He received a total of 705 horns. He had 200 last time, so that should be enough this time. The guy decided it was time to go to the NPC. On the way to the village, Jiang Chen met a group of players. They discussed that there was a place ahead where they could exchange horns. They noted that they were lucky with this task and they will definitely get a good buff. One of the men said that the red sheep has a low level, but it has thick skin and high damage. Even if they make a team, it will take a lot of effort. Another man drew the attention of his comrades to the thin priest who was passing by. He began to mock that the priest must have wanted to kill the monsters, but he was refused. Jiang Chen ignored them. After some time, he came to the destroyed temple. The place was filled with a variety of players offering their services. Someone called to join the number 3 team, which was in the first place in terms of efficiency. Someone called the pretty girls, promising them fast passage and leveling up. One of the killers offered her services and joining the group. A girl approached Jiang Chen and asked if he wanted to trade. Is it possible he is looking for a team? To which the boy dryly replied that he didn't need anything and in general he didn't have time for it. While the girl thought that it is not easy to meet a handsome guy, and he also turns out to be so stubborn. Another girl had already started pestering Jiang Chen, also with propositions. A very beautiful and sexy night girl approached the boy on the steps of the ruined temple. She admired the priest's beauty and offered him to create a team. The girl emphasized that she is quite strong. Jiang Chen was exhausted. He thought about the fact that these women are endless and how many of them have already offered him to create a team. The boy replied to the knight that she should not call him again, and in general, he prefers boys. The knight was amazed by this answer. And then she wondered if this priest was playing a joke on her. Climbing to the upper level of the temple, Jiang Chen saw an old man sitting on the floor. The man turned to the boy and said that he is a traveler from another world, and since he is here recently, the gods must guide him. The old man said that the temple was destroyed and the radiance of the gods was extinguished, that only the red horn can communicate with the gods. The man noted that the more red horns, the easier it is to receive a blessing. Jiang Chen handed the NPC a bag of red-horned sheep and said that this is why he is here. The old man was quite surprised when he saw a whole bag of red sheep horns. The man said he thought the boy was being secretly watched over by the gods. Taking out a magic wand, the old man pointed it at the red horns of the sheep. Watching the man, Jiang Chen wondered if this was a blessing. The old man uttered a spell. A red magic circle appeared, and then the man said that the adventurers should keep a pure heart. Then the gods would bless them. Jiang Chen wondered what kind of buff he could get. The next moment, an angel appeared from the red magic circle and told the boy that he is a child from another world, so he will always believe in love. A system message appeared, congratulating the player on receiving a hidden buff. Cupid's blessing. Jiang Chen was very happy. He really wanted to see this effect. The spec stated that when combined with the opposite sex, he gets the following benefits. Skill cooldown reduced by 50%, mana consumption reduced by 50%, +1 items dropped. When intimacy with the opposite sex reaches its full value. 1 advantage is given. You can get 3 advantages for uniting at once with 3 members of the opposite sex. Jiang Chen was puzzled. He asked if Cupid was really that dedicated to his work. The guy complained that very recently he himself said that he did not want to team up with girls, and he was immediately given such a buff. Jiang Chen bowed his head before the old man and began to say that everyone should praise God and love God. And since the old man communicates with the gods, can't he ask them to give him another chance? The old man became angry and asked the adventurer to follow God's direction and find his way. With these words, he threw a wooden staff at the boy. Jiang Chen said as he ran away that he just wanted to talk to Cupid. After leaving the temple, Jiang Chen looked around. He told himself that if he had known earlier that he would be given such a buff, he would not have refused those girls. He wondered if he could find them now. On the crowded streets, the boy saw a girl knight who offered him to unite. But she was already surrounded by other players. They informed her that they had already assembled the entire team and offered to go on a mission. Newly acquainted girls complimented her and noted that they were very pleased to have such a beauty in their team. That she is so beautiful when there are so many monsters around that need to be killed. That now the girl only needs to swipe her finger to accept the application to form a team with them. The girl was not very happy. Suddenly, she received a system message inviting her to join the team of a player named Mortal. And it was noted that she is already in one of the teams, so she cannot accept this invitation. The knight turned and saw Jiang Chen waving at her. She understood that it was that handsome priest. The girl was glad that he was on time. She apologized to the other players, whose team she managed to join. The girl apologized and said that her friend had already arrived, so she would go with them next time. There was a message that she left the team. Jiang Chen was informed that that he could not invite this player because he was already on another team. The boy was upset. With a heavy sigh, he said that he was just tired and that it was quite difficult to build a team now. Suddenly, he was grabbed by the shoulder. It was that night girl. She asked her brother to wait for her with a smile. Then a system message appeared that the player Qing Ying applied to join the team. And does he want to accept this application? Jiang Chen was surprised and asked the girl if she didn't have a team. Qing Ying explained that she accidentally clicked and actually wanted to leave that team as soon as possible. A new system message indicated that player Qing Ying had joined the team. Cupid's blessing was also activated. Jiang Chen invited the girl to follow him, and he would lead her to the monsters. Qing Ying happily agreed. The players from the team that Qing Ying had left so suddenly were very unhappy. They did not understand how it happened and why the girl left them. And, moreover, she went with some priest. One of the men got quite angry. He told his friends that, at first glance, the girl did not seem like such an irresponsible woman. After a while, Jiang Chen and Qing Ying reached the pasture. Calling Jiang Chen her brother, the girl asked, "Aren't they going to hunt red sheep?" The guy replied that it was too late for that, so don't waste your time. And he also asked the girl not to call him brother, but to call him by his first name. Qing Ying smiled and called the boy Death Brother. The girl noted that it seems to her that there is nothing dangerous here. As it quickly became dark in the pasture, Jiang Chen told Qing Ying to strike immediately. Among the dried earth and rocks, the created team faced their first monster, a wolf-like monster that had the body of a man and the head and paws of a wolf. It was a gnoll who was level 5. Qing Ying grasped the sword and asked the priest if they would be able to kill the monster for sure, because it was level 5? Will a level 3 knight and a priest be able to defeat the monster? Raising his staff, Jiang Chen said that the girl did not need to fight. She just needs to wait for him to finish. Qing Ying was puzzled and wanted to deny him, but the guy made the first hit with a spell on the monster and it lost 120 health points. When the Pochara attacked the priest, he easily dodged and was able to land another blow on the monster's back, causing it no less damage. Qing Ying was shocked. She could not believe that the priest was capable of such a thing. The girl told herself that level 5 mages could only deal 30-40 points of damage with a fireball, but this priest was dealing more than 100 points of damage in one hit. Looking at how focused and clear Jiang Chen was striking the monster, Qing Ying asked herself if this was cheating. Cheating in computer games by using third-party hardware or software to gain an unfair advantage. Qing Ying began to push away such thoughts, deciding that such a thing could not happen. After all, the game Immortals was created by the creator company in cooperation with other companies in the world. So, how could it be broken? Even if the damage dealt is too high, maybe it's because the guy is just too strong. Continuing to watch the battle between Jiang Chen and the monster. The girl noted that in the previous game, no one could control every attack like that and not receive damage at the same time. Qing Ying thought that she must win this extraordinary boy as her partner at any cost. The girl even imagined how she seduces a guy in an open, sexy black dress. how suddenly she was brought back to reality. Jiang Chen called out to her, warning that danger was behind her. The monster attacked the girl. Qing Ying had time to react and protected herself from the monster's attack with her shield. Only then did she think that everything was over, as the priest shouted so that she would not be distracted. The next moment, the monster pounced on the girl again and was able to wound her in the shoulder. One such attack cost her 49 health points. Qing Ying asked the boy in surprise why this knoll was so fast. The girl only now noticed that the priest was very calm. Jiang Chen asked the girl to move away and not distract him. Suddenly, 2 gnolls attacked Jiang Chen at the same time. Qing Ying asked in fear, "Does little brother really want to kill 2 monsters at once?" While the boy fought off the attack of one gnoll, another rushed towards the girl. Jiang Chen asked Qing Ying, "Shouldn't he do this? Should he let her die?" The guy thought to himself, if this girl dies, then what should he do with his buff? After all, it will take a long time to return from the place of renaissance. Qing Ying faintly apologized to the boy with a look of horror on her face. Drawing the attention of the 2 monsters to himself, Jiang Chen said that there was no point in apologizing. Therefore, he asked the girl not to distract him. Qing Ying agreed. She was amazed at how refined the priest's movements were. The girl asked herself, was an ordinary person capable of such a thing? After 15 minutes, both gnolls were defeated. Jiang Chen raised his level to 6th. His staff was raised. The description says that this is a staff of rotting wood, bronze level, spell power plus 20. Additional attributes, intelligence plus 5. This staff is used by magicians, priests, and spellcasters. It requires level 5. Jiang Chen thought to himself that now only weapon attributes can be obtained from monsters. Cupid's Blessing added 1 unit to item drops and helped the staff reach bronze level. The guy decided that for the moment, that's enough. Here, a joyful Qing Ying ran up to him and announced that she had reached the 4th level. Jiang Chen then opened the game menu. In the current intimacy section with Qing Ying, the numbers were listed as 57 out of 10,000. The boy thought that surely 57 was the number of monsters he had just killed. As long as they are in a team, 1 monster killed gives 1 affinity point, and it takes time to get to 10,000 points. Suddenly, something roared loudly, so loudly that the ground shook. Turning around, Jiang Chen and Qing Ying saw a giant angry gnoll. The system message stated that this was a gnoll that had mutated and that he was a level 5 boss. One of the monster's abilities was that when its health drops to 10%, it will head towards the victim and bite them, dealing 500% damage. Jiang Chen was surprised that there was a boss here. After all, at this stage, there are very few monsters of the 5th level, and they could be met extremely rarely. And if the boy manages to overcome him, then it will be the first big murder. Jiang Chen was delighted at this opportunity. While Qing Ying prepared for the monster's attack, Jiang Chen began to think that this boss would bite very quickly. And with the speed that the boy now had, it was impossible to prevent it. So it was necessary to find some way. Jiang Chen turned to the girl and asked her to wait for him. The guy said he was going to kill the boss, so she had to stand still and not move. He asked if she could put up the shield right away when he asked her to. The girl answered that she could. Qing Ying was happy that she would finally be able to help her brother. She tried to calm herself and not get nervous because she had to carry out the order. And so, Jiang Chen began to attack the boss with his spells. After the first attack, the monster's health dropped by 180 points. The gnoll was furious. Attacking the monster from a distance and keeping his distance, the boy calculated that the gnoll boss had 10,000 health, so after 6 spells, it would drop by 10%. The next moment, when the monster was able to get as close as possible to the couple, it looked at them with its red, burning eyes and opened its mouth with huge teeth and rushed at them. Jiang Chen shouted to Qing Ying that now was the time, that she should block the monster's attack with a shield. The girl concentrated and, raising her shield, prepared for a blow. The monster pounced on her, trying to bite, but nothing worked. Qing Ying rejoiced and said that the shield was indeed able to block the gnoll's strike. She thought to herself, Can the priest brother really predict the future? Jiang Chen noted that the girl has good abilities, and it seems to him that the plan will work. The guy jumped up and started attacking the boss again. The spells continued to fall on the monster, constantly depriving him of health points. The monster raged, and after 6 attacks from the boy, it rushed forward again with its mouth open. Standing behind Qingying, the priest again told her to block the blow. The girl replied that she understood everything and prepared for the attack. They used this tactic several more times. Jiang Chen attacked the monster from a distance with spells and then hid behind Qingying and with the help of the girl's shield repelled the boss's attack. A few minutes passed and the null mutant was defeated. The system welcomed players to kill the boss with their first big kill. It was reported that their level was increased to 7, virtual game attribute +1. It was also noted that they received 4 additional points. The current proximity to Qingying is as high as 67,000. Jiang Chen sighed after reading this. Qingying was happy and informed her brother that she was already at the 5th level. Ignoring her, Jiang Chen only said that it was very good. The boy was more interested in whether there were any good things they got from killing the boss. There was Flowing Cloud's outfit, silver level, which gave 180 health points, +110 intelligence, mana recovery 1% per second. It was suitable for mages, priests, and 5th level spellcasters. This award was given for the first kill and the last critical hit. Also among the items dropped was Razor Dagger, silver level. Additional attributes, +110 strength, +5% speed. Fit for killers. Player level 5 required. And also, the Book of Magicians was sealed. 2 stars. She was not unlocked, so the effects were not available and she could not be researched. Jiang Chen was pleased. He thought that such a buff was very useful. Now he will be able to wear flowing cloud clothes, and the dagger can be sold and get quite a lot of money for it. In the characteristics of his character, the boy saw an increase in all points, especially the power of skills, health, and mana. Jiang Chen understood that the rules remained old, and the main thing in the game was to increase intelligence. Therefore, his healing spell can now deal more damage. Qingying was delighted and asked where she and her brother would go next. Jiang Chen replied that he needed to go back to the novice village first, so she could go first. With a smile on her face, the girl said that she also had business in the village, so she would return with him. Qingying thought that the task of killing 50 random wild monsters had been completed, so it must be due to fatigue that the boy would be lagging behind. After 15 minutes, Qingying and Jiang Chen were near the novice village. On the way, they saw a team of players fighting one of the monsters in the form of a chicken. Noticing the couple, one of the team members asked his friends if this wasn't the same night girl who left their team. The other men looked angrily at the couple and replied that it was indeed the same girl, and the priest was also with her. One of the men said that he gets angry when he sees the priest. Is it because the boy is too good-looking? Suddenly, one of the men pointed a bow and arrow at Jiang Chen and told the others to let him teach the boy so that he would understand that strength is the most important thing. And the archer shot an arrow. Qingying shouted to her brother to be careful. Jiang Chen, with a relaxed expression, only thought to himself that this might be a sneak attack. The boy easily dodged an arrow that flew past his head. The girl sighed with relief and said that she was very scared and how good it was all over. She emphasized that it was very insidious. Jiang Chen asked the hostile team why they still hadn't left the village. The man who shot the arrow said that it was very lucky to be able to dodge it. Qingying got angry and angrily asked why they shot the little brother. The archer continued to say that the girl really thought that their team was just a coincidence, that when you want you can come, and when you want you can leave. He noted that this is not how things are done. The man who was a knight in this team said that when they saw the boy and girl returning to the rookie village, they decided to meet them. The mage man shouted that the knight was talking nonsense, that these newbies should just stand there and wait to die. The mage raised his staff and called out a spell. At the same moment, a whirlwind of fire flew towards Jiang Chen and Qingying. Qingying stood in front of Jiang Chen and protected him from the attack with her shield. The girl told the boy that these men are too strong. With a predatory smile, Jiang Chen said that it had been a long time since he had met such a confident player who wanted to give him a weapon. The boy raised his staff and added that by casting his spell on their team, he would send them all home. The next moment, Jiang Chen attacked the archer from the opposing team. With one blow, the boy inflicted maximum damage on him. The other men were shocked and did not understand what was happening. The horrified magician asked, "How is this possible? Why can a priest deal damage?" The man suggested that this guy might be a cheater. With an indifferent expression on his face, Jiang Chen replied that he could think whatever he wanted and that they had the final say. And also so that they don't forget to announce it when they die. After attacking the mage, the boy inflicted 225 damage on him. Watching his teammates go to the other world, the remaining knight realized that his health was 190 points, and that was too little. Jiang Chen turned to the knight and asked him how he wanted to die. With an innocent smile, the knight began to beg to be spared. That the boy can continue to be as strong and he will go away. Jiang Chen replied that the knight should not worry, he would take care of the weapon he would give him. At the end, the man shouted that he did not want to die, because then he would have 1 unit less in all attributes. It is implied that according to the rules of the game, after death, the player loses 1 unit from all attributes. The party that initiated the attack will be forced to drop the highest quality equipment. Picking up the dropped items, Jiang Chen sarcastically said that there are so many good people in this world. Knowing that he can't open a skill book, they give him that opportunity. This is very kind of them. Qing Ying was a little confused. She remarked aloud that this boy was so strong and so handsome. In the village of newcomers, the girl said that she would go to fulfill the task, so she would meet her brother later. Jiang Chen agreed and wished her luck, so the couple broke up for a while. Guy thought that he needed to increase his affinity level with Qing Ying as soon as possible. Otherwise, the buff might disappear due to the distance. Arriving at the exchange building, Jiang Chen read what he could buy right now or what the auction was for. Sold. White iron sledgehammer, 3 gold. Willow staff, 2 gold and 90 silver. And exquisite dagger, 3 gold and 20 silver. The auction included blade gloves, 2 gold and 20 silver. Metal armor, 1 gold and 58 silver. Staff of the Spirit of Water, 2 gold and 90 silver. It was noted that after a successful purchase, the system takes 1% for processing, and after an auction purchase, the system takes 2% for processing. Jiang Chen mused that now all the outlets were filled with untouched items. Prices range from 2 gold and 90 silver to 3 gold and 40 silver, meaning 100 silver equals 1 gold. 3 of those guys' weapons are good for a quick sale, and the silver dagger can be auctioned off. The system reported that the exchange rate between gold and Huyas coins was 1/100. It varies depending on the opening time of the server. The further the player progresses through the game, the higher the price of gold. An exquisite longsword was sold for 2 gold and 97 silver. An exquisite longbow was sold for 2 gold and 97 silver. The peach staff was sold for 2 gold and 97 silver. By selling this weapon, Jiang Chen received 8 gold and 91 silver. This was enough to open the book. The boy decided that he will sell the silver dagger at an auction, and first he needs to go to the village estate to find a job. There was indeed a small estate in the newcomers' village, but it was well fortified and guards were stationed everywhere. Upon entering the grounds of the estate, Jiang Chen met 2 priests who were walking away. The boy walked up to the door on which was attached a coat of arms with a drawn sword and wings. This was the room of the junior mentor priest. The wings of the angel priest represented the owner's level, ascension. Entering the room, Jiang Chen saw that at the foot of a large angel statue with his hands raised to the sky, a man was sitting at the table who was dressed in strange short shorts and had red hair. The man greeted the adventurer and noted that he had visited the Office of Spiritual Healing. The man introduced himself that his name was Luo Te and that he was the boy's mentor. Jiang Chen was disappointed. He greeted the man and, handing him a book, said that he wanted to open the Book of Skills. About himself, the boy wondered how difficult it would be to do this to his dear mentor. Luota picked up the book and said with a smile that it was a 2-star skill book that exuded a beautiful fragrance. The man was very happy and interested. Then he made a serious expression and looked at the boy and asked if the guide knew that he needed energy to open this book, and for that he would need 5 gold. With a strained smile, Jiang Chen handed the man a bag of gold. Luo licked the book between his palms, and it glowed with a pleasant yellow light. Then the man handed the boy a book, which had a picture on the cover and the name Healing Light. Jiang Chen was stunned as he received a group healing spell. In the characteristics it was described that it is a healing ray, 2 stars. It emits a healing light within 20 meters, restores 100% health and can hit up to 3 targets. Skill cast time 5 seconds, cooldown 20 seconds, mana consumption 5. Jiang Chen realized that after the inversion of Yin and Yang, it was the perfect skill to compensate for his current shortcomings. The boy was standing in front of the mentor's desk. Luo blessed the priest, wishing him to heal as many people as possible. Suppressing his joy, the boy thought to himself that this could hardly be called healing. It's evening. The central square of the novice village was illuminated with lanterns and decorated with a large and beautiful fountain. Standing in the square, Jiang Chen thought that it was time to meet with Qingying and go on killing monsters. The boy drew attention to the woman, who loudly called out to the girl who was standing with the dog. The woman was loudly indignant that a girl named Tao Xiaotian was killing monsters in the neighborhood. The woman shouted that the girl would not be able to ascend to the gods. Looking closely at the girl, Jiang Chen realized that she was a conjurer. The boy was surprised that the only spell in this world was so mocked. And since he needed 2 more girls in the team, he thought about helping the girl. The woman continued to rehearse so that the girl would not think that she could pretend to be pitiful if she lowered her head and did not speak. That it was a waste of time and that no one would care about it but her. Unexpectedly for the woman, Jiang Chen intervened in the conversation, noting that no one had said such a thing. The boy reached out to the girl and asked if Tao Xiaotian would join his team. The girl was amazed. She even received a system message that the player Immortal was inviting her to the team. The girl questioned the boy, "Is it really true? And does he really want to team up with her?" Jiang Chen smiled at her and said that there was no other way. The guy offered to go with him, adding that he would be happy to take her to a place where there are a lot of mobs. Tao Xiaotian hesitantly replied that she couldn't leave the novice village because she didn't want to disturb others. And the girl turned her gaze to the woman. The woman, in turn, indifferently said that she can do what she wants. Then, the woman waved her hand at Jiang Chen, telling him not to get into trouble and better get out of here. The guy did not back down. He leaned over to the girl and, holding out his hand to her again, said that it was all right, that he loved all kinds of trouble. The woman began to get angry. Clenching her teeth, she muttered, "Who does the boy think he is?" and added that while she was here, Tao Xiaotian could not go with him, and emphasized that the boy should not delay her. Paying no attention to the woman's words, Tao Xiaotian took Jiang Chen's hand and agreed to form a team. In the system message window, a confirmation appeared that the girl had joined the team of the mortal priest. The woman stood between the girl and the boy. She resentfully told Tao Xiaotian to stand behind her and not go anywhere. Jiang Chen took out his staff and asked the woman seriously, what was she talking about? Then, attacking the insolent woman with a warning spell, the boy added that he had not heard her words. Turning, the woman saw that the guy had aimed at the NPC hare, which was sitting in the village square. From that blow, 225 health points were immediately taken away from the hare, and he disappeared. The woman was quite frightened. She uncertainly asked the boy how his damage could be so high. Jiang Chen did not answer her. He took the girl's hand and said that first they needed to go to the entrance of the village to meet another player. Tao Xiaotian happily agreed. Qingying received a system message with team information stating that the mortal priest was level 7, she, the knight, was level 5, and the new member, spellcaster Tao Xiaotian, was level 2. Qingying reflected on the fact that she was alone before. She wondered why the team needed a girl with only the 2nd level. But, realizing that she is just a person with experience who also recently joined the team, she did not start worrying about it. After finally meeting Jiang Chen and the new team member, Qingying asked her brother, "Where will they go now?" The boy replied that they would head to Dark Mist Canyon. Monsters from the 6th to the 10th levels gathered in the dark mist canyon. They were zombie-like earthlings with chains on their hands. Arriving at the canyon, Jiang Chen warned the girls that he was going to kill the monsters, so they needed to find a place to spend the night and not cause him additional problems. The boy went forward, raising his staff. Noticing him, the monsters rushed to attack. They were zombies with chains that had the 7th level of power. Jiang Chen used a new group attack and hit 3 zombies at once, taking away 195 health from them in one fell swoop. The boy was delighted because it really was a 2-star skill. He thought that it would be possible to improve it very soon. The boy's health level at this time increased to 5,000. Tao Xiaotian was amazed as she watched Jiang Chen's attacks and how much damage he inflicted on the monsters. The girl asked her sister Qingying if she and the priest were a couple. And how was he able to become so strong? Qingying was confused by such a question and answered that they were not a couple yet, that they had only recently met. The girl thought to herself that this little girl could say very sweet things. Tao Xiaotian then asked if the girl did not know why God had brought them together with this boy, since he did not seem to need their help. Qingying thought for a moment, then replied that she did not know. Tao Xiaotian was also shocked and exclaimed in surprise that it could be because the boy is shy. Qingying also caught Tao Xiaotian's obscene thoughts, but replied that it was impossible. She thought to herself, and suddenly the boy really wants them, and drove away such an assumption. The girl decided that her brother does not like girls. But in that case, shouldn't he hide his preferences? Qingying assumed that the little brother had deliberately formed a team with 2 girls. Qingying couldn't hold back her thoughts and exclaimed that it was very exciting. Tao Xiaotian asked the girl what she meant. Just as Qingying was about to explain her thoughts to Tao Xiaotian, a system message appeared, congratulating the player Xiangxing Tengxia, who was the first to reach level 10. The level leaderboard was now open and viewable. Qingying called out to Jiang Chen and said that the little brother was at the top of the ranking table. The guy asked what table she was talking about, but at that moment, a zombie pounced on him from behind. Despite the monster's attack, Jiang Chen easily counterattacked it with a spell and calmly opened the leaderboard game menu. In the table, Jiang Chen read the following. First place, Xiangxing Tengxia, a level 10 warrior. Second place, Dai Xiafa, magician, level 9. Third place, Xiangdan Ushe Tin, 9th level archer. 9th place, Ding Qi Hengqiu, 8th level warrior. And 10th place, mortal, 8th level priest. The guy thought that in a past life, the currency was also improved and the leaderboard opened. That guy must have the money to pay for the top spot. The girls approached Jiang Chen and said at the same time that it was their fault for detaining the master. The boy smiled and said that they were not to blame for anything and that no one would prevent him from taking first place in the future. He's just waiting for the boss to show up. Suddenly, Tao Xiaotian loudly called out for Jiang Chen and Qingying to look in that direction and point a finger in the direction. They saw that the magic fairy was sitting high on the rock. There was a system message saying it was a dream fairy, entry level. She is a pet that can be tamed. Jiang Chen was delighted. He said that this is very cool because finding such a favorite is much more difficult than finding a boss. The girls were also happy. They both asked if the little brother really wanted to tame the pet. If so, they will be able to acquire new skills. Jiang Chen felt something that made him tense up and become more serious. He told the girls not to hurry because someone is approaching them. Turning around, they saw a team of 4 men, and their leader was a woman who was not letting go of Tao Xiaotian in the novice village square. The team included the assassin Qi Po Shantyun, the priest Nai Po Shantyun, and the warrior Dan Po Shantyun. The woman angrily shouted at Tao Xiaotian that she had already warned the girl that if she did not stay with her, the woman would kill her. Then she sarcastically asked who would help them. Is it possible they think the mob in the newbie area is the boss? Qingying asked Tao Xiaotian if she knew this woman. The frightened girl began to apologize and replied that this company wanted to create trouble for them. Tao Xiaotian then turned to Jiang Chen and said that he could kick her out of the team because she didn't want to cause trouble. In response, the boy just smiled and said that there were no problems, that these are just curious players who want to give him their gear. The woman became even more angry. One of her henchmen drew the woman's attention to the fact that this priest is from the leaderboard. Assassin Chipo said that it was nothing strange, that it was just a priest, so they had nothing to fear. And the priest from the women's team added that if they were able to reach the 8th level, then there must be a very strong player in the team, so it is better not to provoke them. Jiang Chen glared at the women's team and asked if they wanted to fight. If so, then let them start already or just go away. The woman, with the same watchful look as the boy, agreed to a fight and added that if the boy is so arrogant, then she will teach him to be a real man. She shouted sharply to her team that the price had been doubled, so they had to hurry. Her teammates also shouted back that they understood everything and were preparing to attack Jiang Chen. Warrior Danpo Zantyun shouted that he did not believe that the priest, the knight, and the little bastard could do anything to them. The man added that he would protect Yan Huo. Standing behind the warrior, Yan Huo herself conjured up a whirlwind of fire and cursed Tao Xiaotian. Jiang Chen stood behind Tao Xiaotian and commanded Qing Ying to block the attack with a shield. The girl, with a joyful anticipation of the battle, stood in front of the girl and told the priest that she understood everything. The next moment, a huge ball of fire flew at the priest's team. Qing Ying, due to her strength and stamina, was able to block this attack. Jiang Chen raised his staff, concentrated, and launched a counterattack against the opposing team. The ex-guy used a group attack of reverse heal, which immediately started minus 240 health points from each of the players. Yan Huo and all her teammates were shocked by such a powerful attack. They did not even have time to understand how it happened that with one blow, they all went to the other world. Qing Ying joyfully jumped up and shouted her words of farewell to the abominable Cao Yan Huo. Tao Xiaotian's jaw dropped. She could not believe her eyes that with one wave, everyone died. A few minutes later, in the novice village at the rebirth point, Yan Huo was raging and yelling abuse. Her teammates were just as confused and desperate. Warrior Danpo Santian shouted that she was a foolish woman because everyone had warned her that that priest was on the leaderboard. The assassin Chipo Chantyun said that the priests cannot deal damage, so he believes that the strongest is a female knight. And priest Naipo Santyun just sighed heavily, saying what a pity. Meanwhile, in the valley, Qing Ying asked Jiang Chen if he was going to tame the fairy. The boy understood that there are two ways to tame pets and riding animals. The first is to use a special prop for excitement, the other is to rely on your abilities, complete the task and win. Jiang Chen, as he started the fairy taming, told the girls that if monsters or other players appeared near him, they should remember to leave his team and go as far as possible. The test has begun. The system notified that once the illusion test was started, it would be impossible to interrupt it voluntarily. If the player does not take damage, he will be thrown out automatically. Jiang Chen found himself in a desert place where many identical little fairies were flying around. He understood that if he wanted to tame the dream fairy, he had to find a real one among the illusions before his health gave out. It was extremely important for him to find her. Looking at the fairies, Jiang Chen thought that it seemed like these illusions were flying all over the sky, but in reality they were moving with limitations in space, so only a true fairy would fly truly freely. Suddenly, the boy's gaze stopped at one of the fairies. He understood that it was she. Then, Jiang Chen threw his staff at her with all his might. A system message appeared, congratulating the mortal player on receiving a pet. It was an entry-level dream fairy. The next moment, Jiang Chen opened his eyes. He saw Qing Ying leaning over him, asking if he had woken up. Tao Xiaotian also worriedly asked what happened to the little brother. The boy replied with a smile that in order to tame a pet, you need to enter the illusion, and he was just there. While Jiang Chen was telling the girls this, a small fairy appeared on his shoulder. Looking at the fairy, Qing Ying excitedly asked if the little brother was really able to pass the test. Jiang Chen replied that he was indeed able to. He offered to try owning a pet. The system message described a new skill. Flicker entry level. Blink is to move anywhere within a 5-min radius. Cooldown is 5 seconds. No mana is spent. After taming, the pet can interact with the player. After activating this skill, everything around Jiang Chen glowed, and a mark in the form of an incomplete golden moon appeared on his forehead. Qingying and Tao Xiaotian blushed and were delighted at such a sight. The girls noted how handsome the boy was and asked themselves the question, is their master sometimes not God? After reading the skill characteristics again, Jiang Chen noted to himself that after taming, the cooldown was halved due to the buff. Therefore, when the fairy grows up, the flickering can be improved. And when it is, then you need to go and continue killing monsters. The boy looked at the girls and asked why they were looking at him so strangely. He emphasized that they need to go and earn experience. And the girls were in a light trance from admiration for the priest, so they could not answer anything. Jiang Chen thought that they must be stupid. Therefore, he decided to do everything himself and deal with the monsters, a group of which was just coming to meet him. While the boy was killing monsters, the girls quietly watched him. Qingying noted that it was a very beautiful picture and wondered why there was such a curve. Tao Xiaotian did not understand what the girl meant. After 10 minutes, all the monsters were killed. An extraordinary and precious bow appeared in their place. Jiang Chen breathed a sigh of relief and said that he didn't need it, that this bow should sell for 40 or 50 gold. Suddenly, the boy noticed something. A new monster was approaching them. It was a mutated zombie with a grappling hook, the local boss with silver level 9. Tao Xiaotian said that this mutated zombie has 2 skills, splitting slime and flying hook. The first skill is a basic attack, but the second skill will be difficult to deal with. The system gave out the characteristics that dissolving slime was released from the monster's body in large quantities and flowed to the ground within a radius of 4 meters. It deals 300 damage per second, slows the player by 30%, and lasts for 30 seconds. Flying hook. For every 10% of the monster's health, the hook dashes at the target, dealing 200% damage. If the target dies, the hook is refreshed. Jiang Chen asked Tao Xiaotian if she had seen this boss before. The girl replied that she had not seen him, but had read about him in the official guide to monsters. She noted that this boss is very difficult to deal with. Tao Xiaotian said that she had already come up with several battle strategies and that she would need one more warrior. Qingying asked if she could use the shield. Tao Xiaotian shook her head and replied that this monster was of a higher level, so it was very easy to die. Jiang Chen thought, as expected of a spellcaster, her eloquence was second to none. The boy remarked aloud that the girl spoke well. At the same time, he said with complete confidence that he believed that the monster's attacks could be blocked. The girls were surprised by such an answer. Qingying asked what exactly she could do to help. The girl emphasized that she can block everything with a shield. The guy said it's not worth it. He advised the girls to hide and not attract the attention of the monsters, that he would deal with everything himself. With these words, Jiang Chen jumped up and stood on a ledge in the rock. Shocked, Tao Xiaotian once again asked loudly if he was serious. Standing on the rock ledge above the monster's head, Jiang Chen replied to the girl that he was serious. Being at a distance from the boss, Jiang Chen began to attack him with his spells, thereby inflicting 240 points of damage. The monster roared, and after a minute, some black mixture came out of its mouth. She flew towards the boy, but he was able to easily dodge. Watching this, Tao Xiaotian said that the master was in an advantageous position, so it was easy for him to avoid the monster's main attack. But how can he avoid the flying hook? Jiang Chen continued to attack the zombie boss. Although the boy dealt enough damage, the overall health of the monster decreased very slowly. Suddenly, the girls shouted for the boy to get ready and be careful, because now there will be a flying hook attack. And indeed, the next moment, the zombie threw a huge hook on a chain, the other end of which was tied to the monster's hand towards Jiang Chen. When Hook almost reached his target, Jiang Chen cast a flickering spell, and the moon shone on his forehead and the boy disappeared. Huge Hook aimed at the empty ledge. A second later, the boy unexpectedly appeared behind the zombie and attacked him. The girls were delighted. They discussed that it was teleportation, a new skill from the Dream Fairy. Standing behind the zombie mutant, Jiang Chen thought that it was too bad that it took 2.5 minutes to recharge. Therefore, he needs to monitor the amount of health and slowly exhaust the boss. 5 minutes later, the mutant zombie, the silver level 9 boss, was down to 0 health. With the last attack, the boy defeated the monster. The girls were happy and jumping with happiness. They shouted that the brother was well done, and it was very cool. The system congratulated the player for defeating a mutated zombie with a silver level hook. It was reported that the killing was completed. Now the boy has reached 9th level. He also got +1 unit of game attribute and +4 additional attributes. The current affinity with Qingying is 239 1000 and with Tao Xiaotian 225 1000. After reading all the messages, Jiang Chen was very satisfied. He thought things were going easy with these girls. Therefore, it seemed to him that complete closeness would come very soon. Also, precious items dropped from the boss, such as Frost Staff of Gold level, Phantom Boots, also Gold level Great Blood Sword, and blueprints of the moon dress, after studying the blueprints of which the player will be able to create a rare suit that only tailors sew. Jiang Chen decided that he could use the staff and shoes, and he would take the Great Blood Sword to the trading house. The guy thought that old things can also be put up for sale, that it will bring a lot of money. To begin with, blueprints can be learned and then sold when professional players appear to earn more. Jiang Chen turned to the girls and informed them that it was already 2 o'clock. He offered to stop there today and asked if they would be online tomorrow. Qingying said that the time really passed very quickly, that it is already very late, and she is here for the whole weekend. Tao Xiaotian replied that she was on summer vacation, so she could play all day. The boy smiled at the girls and, saying goodbye to them, said that they would see each other tomorrow. Taking off his virtual reality helmet, Jiang Chen found himself sitting at a computer desk in his room. He said with regret in his voice that time had flown by so quickly. Jumping onto his bed and throwing off his slippers, he told himself that tomorrow he must move up the levels faster. The next morning, someone rang the doorbell. It was a neighbor who came to wake up the boy. Half-shaven Jiang Chen, who had just woken up, opened the door and began to mumble disgruntledly to Sister Ruye that it was only early morning. The girl, not at all embarrassed, pressed the bag to the boy's bare torso and remarked that she had brought him breakfast. Jiang Chen thanked her with a smile and said that he is an honest person, so he pays for everything with money instead of treating her with meat. Xia Ruye patted the boy on the shoulder and noted that he only knew how to chat. Walking into the room, the girl said that she had forgotten to ask the boy yesterday in which village of novices he was located. Jiang Chen replied that it was village number 1001. Sitting down on a chair, Xia Ruye sighed sadly and replied that she was sorry. She wanted the boy to take her with him to the task. After all, she heard that it is a very good game and it brings a lot of money. Jiang Chen said that 1 gold can now be exchanged for 75 huaxia coins, and later it can be exchanged for 100 coins or more. The boy said that he remembers that Sister Ruye said that she was studying at the Department of Fashion Design. Jiang Chen thought that he didn't really want to give the clothes blueprints to strangers. He told Ruye that he felt the profession suited her, that you can learn to create different costumes after the 10th level and then put them up for sale, that this should be the most profitable occupation in the Immortals game. Hearing this, Xia Ruye lit up. She said she thought it could be tried, but she was only at level 3. Jiang Chen said that when he was free, he would write a game strategy for her. And now the team members are waiting for him, so she should also go and play. After all, there is nothing to talk about without updates. The girl agreed with the boy's words and left the room, and at the end, she blew him an air kiss and winked. Taking the virtual reality helmet, Jiang Chen thought that the leveling was very fast, and he completely forgot about the ordinary players who are still at 2-3 levels. Putting on the helmet, the boy decided that his task for today was to reach the 10th level. Once on the main street of the novice village, Jiang Chen received a message from Tao Xiaotian. She said she was online and asked him to call her when he was online. The boy replied to the girl that he would meet her at the entrance to the village in 5 minutes. He figured she'd gotten into the game before him, so she'd have something to teach her. But first, he needs to go to the trading house to check the weapon. At the same time, put up for sale the gold level weapon that he acquired yesterday. After all, when a copy of the 10th level is cleared, it becomes useless. At the trading house, Jiang Chen received a message that the item he displayed had been sold. The money will be credited to his account after the processing fee is deducted. The boy has a total of 1,125 gold coins. Jiang Chen noted that the price of gold had exceeded 100 last night, that these gold coins are worth 100,000 in real life. Immortals is really the most profitable virtual game. The guy didn't know how much more he could get for a gold-level weapon. Next, he decided to put the Great Blood Sword up for sale. There was a message from Tao Xiaotian that Qing Ying's sister had also joined them, so they were waiting for him at the village entrance. Jiang Chen replied that he would soon. At the gate, the boy was greeted with a smile by a joyful Tao Xiaotian. Qing Ying also said hello. Although she looked tired, she clearly didn't get enough sleep. Jiang Chen joked with Qing Ying, asking what she had been doing all night. Qing Ying replied that the game forum site is very interesting. Therefore, she wandered on it until 3 o'clock in the morning. Tao Xiaotian confirmed this and noted that the encyclopedia on the forum had been updated again and there were many strange things. She read that all players who reached level 10 were stuck in the secret realm and could not get to the main world. Qing Ying was very surprised. She said she didn't know about that. Tao Xiaotian explained that this information was fixed yesterday on the forum. Qing Ying replied that she thought the forum was made to read gossip. Then the girl asked, "What is this secret kingdom? Are players not allowed to enter the main city after level 10? Tao Xiaotian explained that the secret realm is a copy of the main city, but from the 10th level, a gate appears. Players must complete the kingdom's trials to open the gates to the main city. Listening to Tao Xiao, Jiang Chen thought about the fact that in his past life, he passed this stage at 12 in the morning, so he was unable to sleep peacefully. He speculated that perhaps these gates would open earlier. The boy shouted to the girls to go faster to the monsters, because today they have to try hard. The girls only happily answered that they agreed with him. The team came back to Dark Mist Canyon. Jiang Chen gave the girls some instructions. He said that when they were near the monsters, they should stand on a high rock. If Tao Xiaotian can't heal, then Qing Ying will block with a shield. The girls replied that they understood everything. With a serious attitude, Jiang Chen shouted that they were about to begin. A few minutes later, the girls were running down the canyon, followed by a whole crowd of zombies. Tao Xiaotian shouted to the priest that she had brought many monsters. Looking rather battered and with ragged clothes, the girl shouted that everything was according to the boy's instructions and that this should be enough. Qing Ying had the same torn clothes that barely covered the shame. She shouted to Tao Xiaotian that she had also made a significant contribution to the cause. Jiang Chen thought that he expected nothing less from the spell. He gave the girls a sign that they were well done. The next moment, the boy attacked the zombies with a group spell and was able to kill many monsters in one fell swoop. A system message announced that the boy had been leveled up to 10. Also, a +1 virtual reality attribute and an additional +4 attributes. Jiang Chen was pleased with himself and the fact that he was able to ascend. The system then reported that the heal spell reduces the target's health by 40 units. Healing Ray every second reduces the health of the target by 200%. It was also noted about the improvement of the effect of Yin and Yang. The power of the current skill has now been increased by 100%. And when the player reaches the 20th level, the power of the skills will be increased by 200%. Jiang Chen was beaming with happiness. This was a real jackpot for him. The boy thought that this talent was too cool and that he liked it very much. Turning to the girls, Jiang Chen asked how far they were from reaching level 10. Qing Ying replied that she was in the middle of the 9th level. And Tao Xiaotian said that she had only just reached the 9th level. Jiang Chen instructed them to continue killing the monsters and then they would go to the secret realm together. After 3 hours, many players gathered in the secret realm, near the rock with the skull-shaped gate. Someone complained that there are no trade unions in their village, so they won't be able to get through the gate for a while, so they should wait for news from other villages. Qing Ying noted that there were quite a few people around. She thought they were here for fun. The difficulty is too high, so they are all stuck at level 6 and can't even beat the mobs. Tao Xiaotian noted that only their master could pull the two along. After exchanging signs of agreement with Tao Xiaotian behind Jiang Chen's back, Qing Ying added that one must firmly adhere to principles and strive for uprightness. Jiang Chen, not understanding what the girls were talking about, asked what they meant. He added that they should hurry. The girls agreed, and with cheery shouts, Tao Xiaotian ran forward after the boy. Qing Ying and Jiang Chen were embarrassed by the girls' enthusiasm. Yan Huo's team stood nearby. The priest asked his comrades, "Isn't this the team of the same priest?" The male warrior was surprised that this team was below level 5 before, and now they could even enter the secret realm. The assassin from the unfriendly woman's team said that priest had good abilities and that he had become close to the woman knight and was helping that little girl. Priest Naipo Santyun said that it is impossible to say for sure, but that priest is on the leaderboard. The killer noted that he cannot inflict damage, so he must rely on some special abilities. Some man asked what is known about this team. Someone noticed that it's been 2 days since the server started. Only big guilds can form a team to enter the secret realm. The players were interested in the past of this team. Another boy, overhearing the conversation, asked if they had seen the knight and the priest's wife. He assumed that they were most likely in a relationship. Therefore, the priest can enter the kingdom through her. The other 2 men were interested in such an assumption and let their imaginations run wild. They understood what the conversation was going to and became confused, after which they also wanted such a partner. Meanwhile, Jiang Chen, Qing Ying, and Tao Xiaotian walked through the gate. The system welcomed them to the dungeon, a secret kingdom that had a bronze difficulty level. Everything around was plunged into darkness. Ahead was a small gate. Something was visible in the middle of it, but because of the fog, it was difficult to see what exactly was on the other side. Looking around, Qing Ying asked the boy why nothing happened. Jiang Chen drew the attention of the girls to the 4 stone circles on the ground. He told them to stand on them. The girls did as the boy said. Tao Xiaotian asked Jiang Chen what to do with another stone slab. The boy asked if the girl had an animal that could be summoned. If so, let him stand on the 4th stone circle. Tao Xiaotian replied that she was and summoned a dog named Da Hong. Jiang Chen thought that luckily the secret realm didn't need a clear number of people. Therefore, they can count on the help of animals, otherwise they would have to spend time forming a team. The dog stood on the platform. At that moment, the fog that obscured the passage through the gate dissipated. On the other side of the gate of the table, you can see the cemetery, which was filled with various skeletons. Creepy skeletons began to pass through the gate to Jiang Chen's side. They were the skeletons of knights, mages, archers, assassins, spellcasters, and even dogs, and they were all of the 10th level. Qing Ying fearfully asked if all these monsters corresponded to the 7 major player professions. Tao Xiaotian wasn't so much scared as she was frowning because she didn't understand why the skeleton summoner also had a skeleton dog. Jiang Chen said that everything was correct. These skeletons have basic abilities and their basic attributes are similar to those of 10th level players. Qing Ying asked if the attributes are similar. Doesn't that mean they are very strong? Tao Xiaotian replied that it was not. This only means that their master will be able to kill these monsters in a matter of seconds. At the same moment, Jiang Chen raised his new staff and attacked the skeletons. It was a group attack that began to take away 460 health points from the skeletons at once. Qing Ying was stunned by such incredible damage. Tao Xiaotian looked at Jiang Chen lovingly and said that she had read on the forum that these skeletons were very strong. They have a passive aura that deals 50% damage. That only a professional can kill them so easily. Jiang Chen, on the other hand, thought that his new weapon was fast. All of his abilities, except for teleportation, deal real high damage, so everything else can be ignored. Suddenly, the boy received a new message from the player Xiang Xing Tangxia, who wields the giant blood sword. He wanted to talk to Jiang Chen. This player mentioned that he will pay a high price, so the guy will be happy. A few more new messages have arrived. One said that Ba Tie Quanjie wanted to buy the great blood sword from the trading house, after which Jiang Chen would become a friend of the World Kings Guild. In the second, it was reported that Tai Dao Zhang Yan Luo, a member of the Tiantie Guild, also wants to buy the great blood sword for a high price. Jiang Chen's eyes lit up. He was very pleased that his great blood sword was so popular. Then the boy thought that the auction would end in just an hour, and now there is a great excitement. He speculated that maybe they wanted to get the sword for the first pass of the secret realm. As a new wave of skeletons approached the priest, He easily attacked them and continued to muse that he couldn't go on like this, so he wanted those guys to fight for the sword. Jiang Chen decided that he just needed to stay out of the quest until the auction was over. It seemed to him that this time he would earn an even bigger pile of money. After destroying the last skeleton, a bow fell out of it. Jiang Chen said that the quality of this weapon is +1, and in 3 rounds, a total of 18 bronze weapons fell out. The boy told the girls that after the opening of the secret realm, entry-level weapons would depreciate in value, but the quality of silver-level weapons would not be affected. Tao Xiaotian whispered to Qingying that the price of the bronze suit was 50 gold. She thinks that this time the master will earn more than 100,000. Qingying was amazed and asked, "Can they earn that much in this game?" The girl explained that the master can earn so much. An ordinary person will not pass this quest. If the benefit is distributed evenly among the players, then it may not exceed the loss. Qingying told Tao Xiaotian that she felt that if they didn't work hard, little brother would leave them behind. Tao Xiaotian supported the girl and added that she would definitely raise her level before leaving the network. A tired Jiang Chen asked the girls what they were talking about so lively. He asked them to move away and watch so that they would not be touched. And then Tao Xiaotian noticed how new skeletons appeared. They were bigger and looked stronger. They were level 10 ancient sentinels. Their ability was that when receiving lethal damage, they entered an invisible and invulnerable state. Attack speed increased by 20%, and invisibility decreased after an attack. Tao Xiaoden worriedly shouted to Jiang Chen to be careful that these monsters were very strong, as 2/3 of the players in the forum died right here. After attacking the ancient sentinel and dealing only 500 points of damage to him, Jiang Chen realized that this was true. The boy was sure that this stage can be passed only if you are a kite, and he continued to actively cast his spells on the skeletons of the ancient guards. Jiang Chen believed that the biggest problem was that when the health volume of the skeletons dropped to 10%, his evasion would make them invisible, which would take a lot of energy and time. The ex-guy understood that it was necessary to allow the skeletons to launch an attack in order to destroy their invisibility. The melee attack was also impossible to prevent, but he has the blink skill. When several skeleton guards rushed at the boy at the same time, he realized that he would be dealing with 4 monsters at once, so now was the right time. Qingying was worried and said that if the boy wanted to destroy the invisibility of the skeletons, he should let them attack. But their damage is much higher than the master's health. Tao Xiaotian was also worried and added that it was really very difficult. When the monsters got as close as possible to Jiang Chen, the boy used the blinking skill and moved in the same second. He was able to surprise attack the skeletons from behind and thus defeat the 4 ancient guards at once. The system greeted the player with a white jade bone shield that had a silver level. Shield protection was +130 from additional attributes, character status +110, damage reduction +110. Suitable for knights of at least 10th level. Taking the shield away, Jiang Chen said that it was pretty good. This item is top class. The girls again looked at the boy with delighted and loving eyes. Tao Xiaotian said that no one could learn a master's abilities. Qingying added that the outburst that the little brother had just made was unbelievable. Suddenly the earth shook violently. Jiang Chen even exclaimed that it was an earthquake. But then I realized that this was a sign of the appearance of the boss of the secret realm. The system notified about the appearance of the boss, the level 10 ancient death skeleton. His specialty was the burning of mana. This monster fired a beam at the farthest target, reducing that target's mana by 10% every second for 10 seconds. Soul confusion skill. When the boss's health drops to 10%, the attack will be directed at the target with the highest level. The monster deals 100% damage only if it has an attack chance for 10 seconds. The ancient death skeleton spoke and said that he was the head mage of the Imperial Court of the Secret Realm. He was indignant that such an ant dared to appear here and desecrate his grave. The ghost said that he would sentence them to death. And with these words, he rushed at Jiang Chen's team. The boy was desperate. He sarcastically said that it was great that there were only 2 skills, one of which was suitable for long-range combat, and the other will deal huge damage to the main attacker. And this meant that all attacks would be directed at him. Looking at the magic orb held by the skeleton mage, the boy thought that things were not so bad. Due to such difficulty, high-quality items should drop from the monster. Jiang Chen turned to the girls and said that this boss is very easy to defeat, so he will attack later and they can attack now. Qing Ying and Tao Xiaotian were shocked. They tried to understand what the boy's words "very simple" meant because he was the strongest boss on this server. Collecting her thoughts, Qing Ying put her shield forward and said she was ready. Tao Xiaotian followed her lead and prepared herself as well. Jiang Chen thought that Qing Ying and Tao Xiaotian would take the mana-reducing skill and he would take the soul confusion skill. The boy figured that as long as he was using phantom boots, it shouldn't be much of a problem. As Jiang Chen attacked the skeleton, it roared, however, how the puny little men dared to invade this place. The monster shouted that he would definitely kill them. Qing Ying, looking at the monster, admitted that she was scared. Tao Xiaotian said that the effects in this game are too real. She even feels a lot of pressure. Jiang Chen remarked to himself that it felt stronger in middle age and that the monster's cry was indeed very loud. The skeleton roared that they would pay and used a magic bullet to attack the boy. A large ball of dark matter flew at Jiang Chen, but he easily dodged it and began to attack back. While the monster was dealt a huge damage of 500 points, it froze for a moment. Jiang Chen shouted at the girls. Qing Ying took out her sword and rushed forward at the monster. Tao Xiaotian shouted for everyone to prepare to attack and not get too close to her, and she herself summoned her dog Da Hoon and ordered him to attack the monster. The girls' attacks did little damage to the skeleton mage, only at 8 and 15 points. But it was able to knock the boss off his feet and confuse him. Jiang Chen then shouted that the girls were well done and should now stand behind him. All other work should be given to him. The boy thought to himself that now the boss will think that the girls are the most distant goals, and he needs to pay attention to the second skill of the monster. The skeleton raised the magic ball up again and began to gather strength to attack. Tao Xiaotian was scared because her health started to decline. Jiang Chen was calm and focused. He understood that the soul confusion skill would take effect when the boss's health dropped to 90%. The boy continued to inflict 500 points of damage on the monster. When the skeleton began to attack, the boy stood still until the end, and at the very last moment, he began to move. Suddenly, he was struck by the monster's attack and inflicted critical damage to minus 1,500 health points. Jiang Chen fell to the ground. Qing Ying excitedly shouted that her brother had been hit. Tao Xiaotian told the girl that it wasn't like that it was just a copy of the boy. Moving not far from the girls, Jiang Chen waved at them with a smile and said, "Bingo!" A system message has appeared with a description of the gold-level phantom boots. They had +125 defense. Among the additional attributes was +110% speed. Boots automatically created a copy when attacked. Their recovery time is 3 minutes. They could be applied to all professions, but not below the 9th level. A message about the current status of the Great Bloodsword auction came to Jiang Chen. It said that the current bid was 20,000 gold, and there were 20 minutes and 32 seconds left until the end of the auction. A moment later, the stake was already 30,000 gold. Jiang Chen thought that the auction would end in 20 minutes, so he could proceed more slowly. He was glad that the price was rising so quickly, and he wondered how many more surprises he could expect from the guilds. After a few more seconds, the system announced that the weapon is a gold-level Great Bloodsword, currently priced at 35,000 gold. Time until the end of the auction is 2 minutes and 32 seconds. In the temporary residence of the Kings of the World Guild, the warrior man raged. He shouted to the girl standing next to him that the 8th team also died in the boss battle. Therefore, it seems to him that they will not be able to buy the Great Bloodsword. This man was the president of the Kings of the World Guild, Bati Quanzhen. The girl standing next to him was his assistant. She said that the Great Bloodsword was still up for auction and its owner was not affiliated with any of the guilds. Currently, the price of the sword has skyrocketed to 40,000 gold. The man said he thought the boy wanted to sell the sword. Therefore, let the price rise, he will still get the sword. The girl agreed with the president, and the man thought that 40,000 gold is 4 million in the real world. Meanwhile, at the Heavenly Court Guild residence, the president of this guild, named Tai Dao Zhang Yan Luo, was also displeased. He asked how much the sword is worth now. His assistant, Huo Gai Gudu, reported that the price had just been 40,000 stirred, but now it had jumped to 50,000 manas, not 55,000 tanas. The man said that it was only a level 10 weapon, and he was afraid that if the amount went up, the sword would lose its value. President Yan Luo replied that if he bought this sword, he could handle the secret realm. So they have to follow the auction and get the sword. The assistant said he understood. The system kept issuing new messages about the status of the auction. Current bid, 56,000 gold, auction end time, 1 minute 32 seconds. Then the rate changed to 57,000 gold and a time of 30 seconds. Another bet for 60,000 gold and a time of 1 second. The assistant to the president of the Heavenly Court Guild came running with the news that they were able to get the sword. Tai Dao President Zhang Yanluo jumped up excitedly and said that they were going to the secret realm. That with a big bloody sword in their hands, they will definitely pass this test. Suddenly, a system message appeared, notifying everyone in the game, congratulating players Qing Ying, Mortal, and Tao Xiaotian for completing the ancient secret realm and killing the boss. Tai Dao President Zhang Yanluo was simply devastated by such news. His assistant's jaw dropped in shock. The man couldn't believe that the ordeal they had been going to for so long and for which they had spent a huge amount of money was already over. President Yan Luo became so enraged that he tore a hole in the floor. He ordered subordinates to check it immediately. He shouted that it didn't matter which guild these three belonged to. If they really dared to go through the dungeon first, they would pay for it. At this time in the secret realm, the level 10 boss was actually defeated. The system congratulated players for killing the dungeon boss. It was noted that this was the first passing of the test. Therefore, they will be given the title of leader. Also, increased the priest's current level to 11. Added +1 unit to the game attribute and +4 bonus points. With the rank of guide, the chance of treasure drops increases by 50%. Jiang Chen was very happy. He understood that all free attributes were added to intelligence, and damage could be increased just like that. The girls were happily jumping up and down and happily talking about the fact that their master had exalted and also received a title. Jiang Chen smiled. Thought that this rank increased the chance of items dropping, and with the quality drop buff, it was just perfect. The boy then opened the menu to see what the boss had dropped. Magic Crystal Ball, silver level. Added 120 intelligence. Additional attributes. Double spell. Height value 0, 200. It is possible to combine with equipment, and when the height values are full, then the equipment level will be increased. There was also a Necklace of Vitality, also silver level. Added pulse 100 to health. From additional attributes, regenerated 2% health per second. Acts twice as hard during combat. Suitable for all professions not lower than 10th level. Also dropped an item, Ring of Fury, silver level. Adds 120 points to attack. From additional attributes, critical hit chance +5%, critical damage +5%. Suitable for warriors, assassins, archers. And the last item was a new skill book. It was 3-star and sealed. Its effect was still unknown, and it was also impossible to study it. Jiang Chen said that out of the 3 items, he could only use 2. They would give him strength and health. Magic Crystal Ball, growth equipment. Therefore, as soon as the spell is cast, high-level opponents can be killed in seconds. The boy also thought that the Book of Skills was a good thing too. The boss of this dungeon dropped such a rare book. Books with 1 or 2 stars are usually given. He never thought that he would be so lucky. Looking at the girls, Jiang Chen thought that he was able to get this equipment thanks to Cupid's buff. That this time, the girls contributed to the fight against the boss. Turning to the girls, the boy said that he had prepared 2 items of equipment for them. Although these items are of bronze level, this will be enough for them at the moment. Qing Ying and Tao Xiaotian thanked the mortal. The girls looked at each other and at the same time thought that although they would not be able to help much in battle, carrying things is easy. Hugging each other, the girls were happy that Jiang Chen was such a good guy and thanked him once again. Jiang Chen smiled and replied that you're welcome. He thought to himself that the trading house had a daily limit on the displayed goods, so they would get the other bronze suits for the crystal ball. A ghostly thick fog appeared in front of Jiang Chen's team, rising from the ground to the ceiling. The boy said that they should go forward to finally finish this quest. The girls agreed. From the open mouth of the skull protruding from the rock, a thick red mist appeared. The players who gathered under the rock began to shout that the team that completed the task of the quest is out. People shouted with delight that this team was really able to complete the quest. Someone said that there were so many guilds here and that Master Qing Ying was able to help the priest and the spellcaster through the dungeon. Unexpectedly, players from other teams started approaching Qing Ying with requests to take pictures. All of them turned out to be her fans because they believed that she was the strongest player in their team. Seeing such a picture, the warrior from the women's team, Yan Huo, said that he just made a post on the network. The man was surprised that the post became so popular. Another member of the team said that the warrior is right because this night girl is very cool. At this time, more and more men gathered around Qing Ying, asking to take a photo. The girl was at a loss and wanted to ask her brother Mortal and Tao Xiaotian for help. But the boy and the girl just waved at her and said that they would wait for her in the newcomers' village. After some time in the novice village, Jiang Chen's team made their way to the village estate. They stepped inside and paused in the lobby in front of a large circle that had been created on the floor. Jiang Chen turned to the girls and asked if they still had any business in the novice village. If not, then they should leave now. The girls simultaneously answered that they had nothing to do and were ready to follow him. Standing in the middle of the magic circle, a system message appeared, asking if the team wanted to go to Zuila City. Jiang Chen confirmed. The magic circle was activated. Everything around lit up. The wind rose and the teleportation of the players to the city of Zuila began. Standing on one of the main streets of Jilu City, Qing Ying gazed with delight at the majestic, elegant, and very beautiful buildings around her. The girl said that this place is very beautiful. Tao Xiaotian also shared Qing Ying's delight. She said that Jilu City is level 2, so the environment here is so realistic. The girl also read on the forum that the game has 32 Tier 2 main cities. If they are so realistic, then the creator of this game is really God. Listening to the girls, Jiang Chen added that they could teleport between the other major cities or walk to them once their level increased. The boy thought to himself that this is when the game really begins. Next, Jiang Chen, together with Qing Ying and Tao Xiaotian, went to the main estate of Jilu City. They needed to get a new mission. Once in the estate, the boy asked the girls to look around and take on the task of killing monsters and also look for hidden missions. He explained that he was going to do one thing so they would meet a little later. The girls agreed. Jiang Chen headed to the financial secretary's office. A short man in a funny red hat and a thin mustache was standing behind the counter. It was a financial secretary named Xing Thay. The boy knocked on the door. Qing. They greeted the adventurer and introduced himself as the financial secretary. The man asked unenthusiastically, "What can he do to help?" Jiang Chen replied that he wanted to rent a shop. The financial secretary was quite surprised. The man excitedly asked the boy if he needed a shop in the estate or on the street. Jiang Chen replied that he would be fine in the estate. Xing put a map of the shops on the table. The man explained that this map marked the shops that are currently for rent, and the prices were also indicated. Therefore, when the guy chooses the right one, let him know about it. Jiang Chen carefully looked at the layout of the shops and their prices. The guy thought about the fact that the trading house has a limit on the number of goods displayed for sale. Therefore, having opened a bench, he can easily display all unnecessary things. He also thought that when Ruye became a seamstress and started making clothes, she would also need a shop. Jiang Chen chose a shop in the center of the estate on the map for 1,000 gold per month and informed the financial secretary that he needed 6 such premises, and asked about a discount for renting for a year. He expected that the gold coins he received from the sale of the Great Bloodsword could be used in the shops. After all, later there will be millions of players in the city, so the profit will be stable. Xing Thain's eyes lit up. He decided that in front of him was a very wealthy person. The man offered the boy an annual payment of 10,000 gold. Jiang Chen agreed. Leaving the financial secretary's office, the boy was a little embarrassed to be praised by Qing Ti and shouted after him what a nice rich man he was. Jiang Chen then thought that he should now find a mentor in the main city in order to unlock the skill book. Having found a door in the estate with the coat of arms of the priest of the Ascension, the boy knocked and was kindly invited. In the middle, he was met by a mentor of priests named Evelyn. She was a gorgeous woman with long golden hair and green eyes. She greeted the traveler and informed him that she was a middle-class instructor. Then, the woman asked if the boy needed her help. Jiang Chen was a little confused and remarked that she really deserved to be a mentor because she had such a nice breast size. Embarrassed, the boy held out the book and informed the mentor that he wanted to unlock this skill book. Evelyn was delighted when she saw that the boy brought her a book with 3 stars. She jumped up. Embracing the book, the woman said that the traveler was very impressive to her, and to unlock the book, you need 50 gold. The guy replied that it was not a problem. After receiving the gold coins, Evelyn began the process of unlocking the skill book. After a few seconds, the system announced that the book was unlocked, Small World Apocalypse, which had 3 stars. The skill emits a hexagonal-shaped spell with a radius of 20 moism. All friendly targets within the spell's area of effect regenerate 100% power per second. Duration 10 seconds, recharge time 40 seconds. This effect required 100 mana and was suitable for priests. Jiang Chen even exclaimed with delight that it was a group spell. He immediately thought of combining this skill with Yin and Yang inversion. There is a new announcement that Small World Apocalypse will now emit a hexagonal spell shape with a 20mm radius that will reduce the spells of all enemies in the area by 200% for 10 seconds. Mana consumption 50, cooldown 20 seconds. The boy happily exclaimed that this is a great new skill that deals group damage in a 20-meter radius. Jiang Chen immediately cast a new effect spell to test it. He thought that while the spell was working, it was the entire field of damage. And while he is in this field, he is invincible. After finishing the matter, Jiang Chen thought that it was time to return to Qing Ying and Tao Xiaotian. He didn't know if the girls were able to kill the monsters and find a new mission. Just received a message from Qing Ying. She wrote that she found the secret task, Infinite Challenge, and asked if they would take it. Jiang Chen noted that they are lucky because such tasks are very rare. In the note for the task, it was stated that Infinite Challenge is a random task that is divided into 3 types. An experience type where experience increases. A type of gear that drops gear on successful completion. Weapon type, drop weapon. In the message, Qing Ying wrote that the NPC said that the test was very difficult. Players who fail it lose their weapons and experience points. Jiang Chen replied that it seemed to be a generic infinite challenge. Without a moment's hesitation, Jiang Chen said that they were taking on this task. At this time, in the manor of the main city of Mingyue, Huo Gai Gudu ran after his Heavenly Court Guild president and reported that they had found the people who had killed the boss of the secret realm. That they are currently in the main city of Juilu, but President Taidao Zhang Yanluo looked at his assistant unkindly and asked what other but. The aide said that they say that the female knight is ranked first in the national list. The priest is on the leaderboard. They don't belong to any guild, but they are all masters, and that it is very dangerous to attack them. President Yanluo replied that since they dared to kill the boss faster than him, they should pay for it. He ordered 300 of his guild members to be summoned to Julu City. The man emphasized that he was going to destroy this team. Hogai Gudu worriedly asked the president if it was too many people. After all, most of their people are in the city of Mingyue. For the road to the city of Juilu, a fee of 5 gold per person is deducted. The president only said that since the girl is on the first place in the national list, they should give her a gift. He wants everyone to know that the interests of the Heavenly Court Guild cannot be affected by anyone. President Yanluo then added that besides Immortals is not just a game. Meanwhile, at the Juilu City Manor, the system announced that Jiang Chen's team had accepted the Endless Challenge task, where they had to challenge the Demon Realm Rift, difficulty level 10. Challenge the Rift of the Demon Realm. Before the story, in the Forest of Horrors, to the west of the city, a fissure of the Demon Realm appeared. Players were asked to go to the rift and challenge all the monsters. Hint: endless challenge cannot be interrupted midway. If the team fails, all awards will be forfeited. Any piece of gear will be forcibly reset and all level experience will be revoked. After reading this, Jiang Chen repeated with a smile that it was a level 10 endless challenge task and it was quite good for him. Qingying informed the boy that she accepted the task but did not see what rewards could be obtained for it. Jiang Chen said that the reward for this task would be what would drop from the monsters. Gear drop chance is 1-to-1 and experience will be doubled. Therefore, he asked the girls to prepare for the task. They happily agreed. After some time in the Forest of Horrors, Jiang Chen's team was already standing at the rift of the demon realm. Passing through the red mist, the system reported that they had entered the rift of the 10th level demon realm. Now they need to start the mission and fight for 10 minutes to complete the task. The first to appear from the demon rift was a level 10 demon. The system reported that it was a demon blood that had traces of demon blood in its body. This demon had the power of self-healing and regenerated 5% of his life energy every second. Jiang Chen said that Qingying was in charge of fighting the monsters and stressed that she should not forget to set up the shield. The girl answered with confidence that she would do it. The demon attacked with a huge axe. Qingying blocked the shot. Jiang Chen shouted that she didn't need to deal damage, that she should focus on moving and dodging. After all, the number of monsters will soon increase, so you need to save the amount of health. Tao Xiaotian turned to Jiang Chen and said that she was useless. After all, he cannot resist monsters and inflict damage. The guy replied that spellcasters are really not that strong in the early stages, but after level 20, her potential will grow. Therefore, now she should protect herself and not interfere. Hearing these words, Tao Xiaotian calmed down a little. She agreed with Jiang Chen's strategy. Then, the girl drew the priest's attention to the fact that more and more new demons began to appear from the rift. She also remarked that Qingying could no longer resist them. There are too many demons. Raising his staff and taking out the magic crystal ball, Jiang Chen reassured her that it was okay, that everything would be fine soon. The boy cast one of his new spells. It was so powerful that, in addition to the huge magic pattern on the ground, a strong flow of wind also arose. A second later, all the demons that tried to attack Qingying were struck by Jiang Chen's group spell. All of them began to lose 11 and 20 health points every second. Demons disappeared before our eyes. Tao Xiaotian was stunned by such incredible power. She said that their master is better than all. At this time, the president of the Heavenly Court Guild, Yan Luo, appeared at the teleportation point of Jiwilu City with his men. The players who were on the streets of the city, seeing a huge number of other players with their president, wondered what happened. Others began to post such unusual news on the network. The passers-by around were amazed that one of the most influential guilds with several hundred members had arrived in their city. They were sure that something very interesting would happen here soon. Meanwhile, in the real world, in one of the buildings in the city of Luncheon, there was a club called Juntu. This club was full of game cameras with players wearing virtual reality helmets. A man approached one of these cameras. He tapped the camera and asked Team Feng to watch one video on the game's official forum. A man named Xiongthu Linfeng came out of the cell. He was the captain of the Xiongthu club. The man said unhappily that he had warned him not to be disturbed while creating monsters. He asked, "What happened?" Xiongthu Linfeng was handed a tablet and shown a video from the game's forum with the caption that hundreds of people had teleported to Jiwilu City. The man recognized Taidao player Zhang Yanluo in the video. He said that this is the Heavenly Court Guild. The man asked his assistant what they wanted to achieve by sending 100,000 men to the city of Zuila. Assistant Wang Xiao said that people are saying that this case is about the team that killed the boss in the secret realm. That President Yanluo spent a lot of money for that mission, but he was overtaken. Therefore, Taidao Zhang Yanluo wants to take revenge. Xiongthu Linfeng became angry and replied that it was not quite so. He explained that Taidao Zhang Yanluo wanted to kill that team to demonstrate his guild's power. Putting his gaming helmet back on, the man said that the guild president had a good idea, but he wouldn't be able to do it alone. Xiongthu Linfeng said that he was going to Jiwilu City. Assistant Wang Xiao was delighted. He wished his boss to successfully deal with everything there. Xiong Tu Lenfeng said with a serious expression that he was going to single-handedly destroy the team that defeated the boss in the secret realm. At this time, in the Forest of Horrors, in the fissure of the demon realm, Jiang Chen continued to calmly destroy a large number of demons. The boy had already collected so many items dropped from slain demons that the system reported that his backpack was full and asked to make room. Jiang Chen was surprised that the backpack had filled up so quickly. He thought that the extra silver suit could be used for the crystal ball. After completing the connection procedure, a system message appeared. It indicated that the player had combined a silver-level sharp longsword, so the growth value of the magic crystal ball was plus 110. A silver-level tough leather armor was then combined, which also gave plus 110 crystal ball growth. Jiang Chen also combined with the magic crystal ball, silver-level swift movement boots, and silver-level moon sword, which together gave plus 120 crystal ball growth points. The next message said that the growth value of the crystal ball was filled to 300. It was proposed to improve the orb to the gold level. The guy agreed to improve the bullet. As the orb improved, the characteristics appeared, indicating that it was a gold-level secret realm crystal orb. She carried intelligence plus 140 points and additional qualities. This is a double spell. Growth value 3000. This orb can be combined with any equipment or gear to improve growth values and improve qualities. Jiang Chen was stunned that the bullet would deal 40% double damage. Given these characteristics of his ammunition, he is invincible. Suddenly, the voice of Qing Ying was heard as she ran away from a bunch of demons. She shouted that if her brother did not help her, then this time she could die. Jiang Chen shouted back that he was already here. The boy used the spell Apocalypse of Small Light in combination with the upgraded gold-level magic crystal orb. The demons were hit by a considerable force that inflicted 640 points of damage every second on each of the monsters. After a few seconds, they all disappeared. Looking back, Qing Ying breathed a sigh of relief and said that it was so close that she almost died. From the pile of demons fell the same pile of various weapons. They were bows and various swords. Qing Ying asked Jiang Chen if it had to end when they defeated another group of monsters. The guy answered yes. 3 minutes later, the system reported that the mortal player had reached level 12. This gave him plus 1 unit to the virtual attribute and plus 4 extra points. Qing Ying asked if the little brother had actually leveled up. She added that she would also get high soon. Tao Xiaotian reported that she was almost there too. After all, it turned out that the experience for Infinite Challenge is very high. Looking around, Qing Ying said that no one else appeared. She asked if it was possible that it was over. A system message appeared stating that the Endless Challenge mission has been completed. Therefore, players are free to leave the rift. A ghostly passage appeared from the thick red fog. Qing Ying was overjoyed and exclaimed that they could finally leave. But suddenly, Jiang Chen stopped her. The girls looked at the boy in surprise. He explained that this is not all. Here, the rift suddenly shuddered and began to crack, and a large 10th-level winged demon appeared from it. The system reported that it was Bloodthirsty Spike. He jumps to the target, deals a 300% weapon strike, and causes the victim to bleed. The target loses 100 health per second for 5 seconds. Jiang Chen said that this is the last monster. The boy thought to himself that silver-level elite monsters give a chance to drop gold gear. Swinging his staff and combining the spell with the upgraded magical crystal ball, the boy began to deal a fair amount of damage to the demon. After a few attacks from the boy, the enraged demon went on the offensive and used his blood spike technique. The winged demon jumped very close to the boy and struck with a huge axe, but Jiang Chen was able to easily dodge the blow and prevent himself from being harmed. After 30 seconds, the winged demon was defeated. The girls were again amazed by such a quick victory of their leader. Qing Ying noted the master's extraordinary speed, which was measured at 1 monster per minute. The demon dropped. Demon armor of gold level, which gave plus 150 defense points. Additional attributes: character condition, plus 115, strength, plus 115. Chance when attacking to activate the effect of restoring blood by 20%, restoring health by 10%, the duration of the effect is 10 seconds. Jiang Chen thought that restoring the blood of this armor was equal to 2 lives. Also, this magic was suitable for an open attack, and there was also an amazing bonus. It was a scroll that fell from the monster, Sigwang skirt drawing. After studying the drawing, it was possible to sew clothes of excellent quality. This scroll was available only to seamstresses. After leaving the demon rift, Jiang Chen happily informed the girls that they were returning to the city. The happy Qingying and Tao Xiaotian happily agreed. Meanwhile, in the city of Zuilu, under the walls of one of the buildings, the president of the Zunthu Club was standing with his assistant. Wang Xiao told the president that he speculated that their information might be wrong, that the group did not pass through that door. Xiongthu Lenfeng yawned and replied that the Heavenly Court Guild searched the city but found no one. Therefore, they must be outside the city because the nearest places where monsters are located are near the city gates. Suddenly, the president's face became stern and he informed Wang Xiao that they had arrived. Seeing the 2 men at the city gate, Jiang Chen immediately recognized them. The guy thought that these were people from the Xianthu Club, but he did not understand what they were doing here. Passing by the men, one of them, namely Lenfeng, quietly warned Jiang Chen to be careful that they were wanted by people from the Heavenly Court Guild. Jiang Chen was surprised. He looked around and looked at the man in silence. The guy thought that maybe it was a manifestation of goodwill of the president of the Xunthu Club. Qingying asked Jiang Chen who these people were and why were they here. Tao Xiaotian also wondered why the Heavenly Court Guild was looking for them. The boy thought that it seemed that the person who bought the Great Blood Sword was a member of this guild, and it was most likely Tai Dao Zhang Yanluo. Jiang Chen replied to the girls that he must have come to take revenge. So when they get back to town, the girls have to find out the news and he goes to the estate to take care of some business. The guy asked that they contact him at any time. Qing Ying and Tao Xiaotian understood their task and agreed. After a while at the city manor, the game system asked Jiang Chen what he wanted to name the shop he rented. The boy chose the name, Treasure Pavilion. He thought about first unloading his pack and putting his gear on the shelf. Each silver suit costs 20 gold. The demonic armor has yet to be named, so there is no price yet. Jiang Chen thought to himself that he didn't know how Qing Ying was doing with his investigation, but he was doing well so far. Therefore, he needs to think about the next step. Here is a message from Qing Ying. The girl wrote that there are rumors that the Heavenly Court Guild brought 300 men and threatened to kill the team that destroyed the boss of the secret realm. Tao Xiaotian joined the chat, saying that she had learned that the kings of the world, dynasty, myth of immortality, and other major guilds had also come here to kill them. Jiang Chen said with excitement in his eyes that there are so many people and that this game is getting more and more interesting. And since they took the initiative, they shouldn't blame him when he kills them. The boy thought to himself that now is the time. He will start the quest by taking the player's life. In the south of Qingxi Lane, in the city of Juelu, a man was sleeping at a table in a tavern. Suddenly, someone burst into the tavern and shouted loudly to the president of the city. Out of fright, the man jumped up on the spot and shouted, "How does the traveler know that he is the president of this city? Or even how does the guide know he's here?" Jiang Chen replied with a smile on his face that he thought it was God's blessing. He thought to himself that this was mentioned in the strategy of the past life. Since the president of the city of Juelu was not in the estate, his discovery may give a limited mission. The president of the city told them not to go around in circles. He will help travelers who have arrived in the main city for the first time. The man added that he would give the traveler a special task. Only guides who complete the task will be able to receive the reward. The system greeted the player with the launch of the Zuila City Limited quest. The essence of the task: to go to the Land of Ashes in the north of the city. Get the heart that will drop from the Burning Stone Heart and give it to the city president. Reward: City Light. The note says that the more hearts, the higher the reward, and the task is limited to 3 hours of time. The president said that since the boy was the first to find him, he would get the only clue. His advice was not to contact the Flame King. Jiang Chen sincerely thanked the president for the task and advice. The boy thought to himself that now is the time to make the next move. A limited task appeared on the bulletin board of the city of Zuilu. Where to go to the ashlands in the north of the city of Zuilu. Get the heart that will drop from the burning stone heart and give it to the city president. Reward, city light. The note states that the more hearts, the higher the reward. The task is limited to 3 hours. This announcement was simultaneously read by the presidents of the Heavenly Court and kings of the world guilds. Men could not miss such a chance. Although they wanted to kill Jiang Chen's team, completing the secret mission was more important. To the north of the city of Zuilu, in the lands of ashes, fiery stone creatures of 10th level roamed. The president of the Heavenly Court Guild was the first with his henchmen to come to the land of ashes. The man said that while there are few players, it is necessary to hurry to the monsters and complete the limited task. Assistant to the president, Huo Gaigudu, asked his president if he still wants to take revenge on the team that won the Secret Realm quest. Tai Dao Zhangyan Luo replied that they should forget about that team for a while. And when the limited task is completed, then that team will die. Here, the president of the Kings of the World Guild came out of the fog with his men. Bati Quanjin wondered if this was the president of the Heavenly Court Guild. And what does he do outside the city? Tai Dao Zhangyan Luo looked at Quanjin and said that one cannot compare that team with a limited task. He asked if the president of the Kings of the World does not want to wait for the result of the fight. For Yan Luo suggested not to wait, but to watch the fight. The president of the Kings of the World Guild just laughed. Tai Dao Zhangyan Luo warned him not to turn around. And then he learns that he is just a fish on a separate board. Bati Quanjin replied that brother Yan Luo should not worry about it, as he did not have the great blood sword that was worth millions. Quanjin gave President Yan Luo a friendly reminder that if they took the initiative and started the battle, then the best weapon would fall out. Watching the two guild presidents from a distance, Wang Xiao asked his club president if it smelled too much of gunpowder. Xiong Thu Lenfeng replied that there are guilds from other cities, that this is what their conflicts smell like. He explained that because of the limited mission, there is animosity, and that is normal. Moreover, dozens of the best guilds of the north come here. Lenfeng ordered his men to try to outrun them, kill as many mobs as possible, and get the mission reward. Meanwhile, somewhere deep in the ashlands, Jiang Chen and his team were already wandering. Tao Xiaotian asked the boy why he was avoiding players and mobs all the way. Shouldn't they do this task? Jiang Chen explained that the limited task was a diversionary maneuver. The boy then turned around and said with a predatory smile that their true target was a level 15 Firestone King. And a huge stone-burning monster appeared in front of them. The system reported that the monster has an attack called Stone Spikes, which will hit the ground for every 10% health drop. Rocks within 30 meters will rise from the ground and create a large number of stone spikes that deal 300% damage. Another attack, Lava Rain. For every 20% damage reduction, a large amount of magma will swing. It deals 500 damage and creates a burning effect followed by 100 damage per second. Duration, 10 seconds. The third such monster is Fiery Life. When the target is killed, the mob absorbs its life energy and strengthens itself. Suddenly, the monster began to roar that he was the king of rocks and the king of fire, that they disturbed his sleep, so he will turn them into magma and burn them to the ground. King Ying nervously said that this virtual game effect was too realistic. Tao Xiaotian also began to tremble and asked the master if they could help him with anything. Jiang Chen replied that he was going to take the monster away. Therefore, they need to wait until the boss is far away and then go to the hole he was just in. In the center of that pit is a piece of fire crystal. They need to wait for his signal and break the crystal. The boy shouted at the monster that he was just a big rock and his real opponent was him. Jiang Chen then attacked the monster with his spells. The king of firestones roared and began to chase the boy. The monster raised its stone legs, which left deep holes in the ground. The boy shouted to the girls not to delay and to go ahead. Qing Ying and Tao Xiaotian rushed to the pits left behind by the monster. In one of them, they saw a crystal. The system notified that it was Firestone, crystal of the King of Firestones, that after destroying this crystal, the king would be powerless for half an hour. While Jiang Chen was running away from the monster, Tao Xiaotian texted him that they had found a firestone. The guy wrote back for them to get ready. Jiang Chen ran past several players, surprising them quite a bit. A player named Teng Ting Pao Hui shouted after the boy that this area had been cleared by the Heavenly Court Guild, so they should hurry, but the man did not agree. He was shocked when a gigantic, stone and burning monster appeared before them. Teng Ting Pao Hui shouted to his partner to quickly inform the president that they had a boss here. Another boy came running and informed Teng Ting Pao Hui that it seemed the priest had just escaped. The man ordered to leave him because now the boss is more important. They need to hold on and wait for the president. Secretly watching the players from a tree branch, Jiang Chen noted that the man was a member of the Heavenly Court Guild, that it was indeed a narrow path for all members. The lazily yawning boy also wondered if they would be able to break through to the golden weapon. After all, everything depended on how hard they would work. Jiang Chen said to himself that he would give them some sweets first. And I thought to myself that there should always be some hope, that these arrogant players will help him kill the monster. X-Guy wrote in the chat to the girls to break the firestone right now. The King of Firestone faded and visibly lost his spirit. Ting Ting Pao Hui seemed to rejoice and shouted to his companions that the boss had weakened. And now they have to wait for their president to kill him. Meanwhile, Tai Dao Zhen Yan Luo was swinging his precious great blood sword and killing the level 10 stone mobs. Here he received a message from an assistant that they had encountered a level 15 boss. The monster is still weak, so they asked the president to help them. Yan Luo became interested in this boss. The president called out to the other members of his guild that they were going after the boss, and that this time the boss would belong to them. Ba Tai Quanzhen noticed that all the members of the Heavenly Court Guild were going deep into the Ashlands. He invited his men to follow them and see what was there. Qi Si, the vice president of the Heavenly Vice Guild, also wondered why the Heavenly Court and the kings of the world went ahead. It was strange, so they decided to check it out too. Players from other teams and guilds were also interested in why all the main guilds headed deep into the forest. At first they hesitated. Should they follow them too? Without thinking for a long time, a large number of teams rushed to catch up with the main guilds that had set off into the depths of the Ashlands. At this time, Teng Ting Pao Hui with his fellow guild members tried to restrain the weakened boss. The man kept asking how long it would take their president to get here. He said he couldn't stand it anymore. The assistant replied that he did not know how long they would go, but there were more and more people around, and the boss's health was declining. Suddenly, Teng Ting Pao Hui shouted happily that they had finally arrived. The man saw his president running furiously in front of a huge crowd of other players. Teng Ting Pao Hui remarked that he thought there were too many people. Running closer to the monster, President Yan Luo snorted to stop it from talking nonsense. He said they would get the victory. Other teams will team up with other guilds to clear the field and remove people. One of the members of the Heavenly Court Guild, Wan Fa Huizong, told the president that all the major guilds had sent people to observe. The players heard the news and followed them. He also noted that there are cunning players who want to take advantage. President Yan Luo replied that he asked people to unite with the other guilds to prepare to clear the field. He added that Wang Fa Guizong could use his skill at any moment and strike. The president of the Kings of the World Guild called here. Bati Quanzhen said that he heard that the Heavenly Court Guild wanted to clear the place. But this boss is wild, so everyone has the right to fight him. Other players who joined the boss hunt supported President Quanzhen. They shouted that they also wanted to take part, and that Heavenly Court could not take everything for itself. Enraged, President Yan Luo whispered that one day he would get the president of the Junfu Club. Wang Fa Huizong asked the president what should they do now. Yan Luo raised the great blood sword up and shouted that there was nothing more he could do about it and ordered his men to take the monster. At the same moment, a bunch of different attacks rained down on the King of Firestones. Qingying and Tao Xiaotian watched this action. Qingying remarked that there were actually a lot of people, and Tao Xiaotian asked the master if he was going to use the boss to defeat the Heavenly Court Guild. Jumping down from the tree, Jiang Chen replied that if these people wanted to cause him trouble, then they deserved it. But the main purpose was different. The guy looked at the girls and asked if they were paying attention to the boss. In response, Tao Xiaotian asked if the monster had the fire life skill, did the master mean. Fire life. For every player killed, life energy will be absorbed to strengthen the owner. Jiang Chen smiled slyly and replied that everything was true, that this skill can permanently power up the boss. Therefore, the more players attack the boss, the higher his vitality. Tao Xiaotian looked at the boy with delight and asked that the master allowed them to destroy the firestone in order to attract players to help him strengthen the boss. Jiang Chen winked at the girl and replied that everything is exactly like that. He added that very soon the boss will regain his strength. And the guy started the countdown. As Jiang Chen counted the numbers, the Firestone King's health had dropped to 30%. The other players continued to attack the monster without stopping. How suddenly the boss rose to his feet, lit up with a red flame, and roared loudly that he was the king of the rocks. The monster shouted that whoever dared to disturb him would die. Seeing the angry monster, President Yan Luo shouted to his men that things were very bad. He shouted that the boss had activated his skills, so they should run. A lot of players were affected by the Firestone King's attack. They couldn't escape, so the monster began to inflict heavy damage on them. President Yan Luo shouted for everyone to retreat quickly. That to begin with, they need to wait for the monster's attack to finish, and then... And the man fell silent. He was amazed when he realized that this boss had a recovery skill. Right before the man's eyes, the King of Firestones began to recover his health from the lives of the slain players. Wang Fa Huizong told the president that this boss had become much stronger. Yan Luo clenched his teeth in anger and just let out a curse. The man reassured himself and said that it was not bad. After all, the random players who did not join the teams almost all died. So he wanted the people around them to enter the arena. Suddenly, a whisper was heard from Qi Shi, a member of the Heavenly Vice Guild, who said that such a plan made sense. The man scared Yan Luo quite a bit because Qi Shi sneaked up on him so stealthily. Qi Shi noted that when the players unite, even the wild boss can be defeated. President Yan Luo shouted that their guild had 300 members, of which 2-3 players are here, so he needs to establish his power. Xiong Thu Lenfeng smiled and said that if President Yan Luo wanted to, he could act. A system message immediately appeared, which indicated the union in the trade union channel. If anyone had questions, they could be asked safely. The guild president, Kings of the World, also accepted the invitation to the union channel and told President Yan Luo that the main blow depended on his abilities, so he asked Yan Luo to guide them. President Yan Luo confidently began to issue orders. He announced for all the knights to step forward and place their shields to block and the warriors to charge. All players did as the president of the Heavenly Court Guild ordered. They lined up in 2 rows where the knights blocked the monster's attacks and the warriors counterattacked. The boss roared under such an onslaught of attacks. His health is down to 33%. Wang Fa Huizong shouted that this kind of damage was enough and that they could fight on. President Yan Luo loudly ordered the mages and archers to stay as far away as possible while the priests stabilized the health of the warriors and knights. After several attacks, the monster's health dropped to 29%. Yan Luo continued to command everyone to be careful, because soon the boss must use his skill. Everyone must watch their positions in melee and must not die. The soldiers duly followed all the president's orders and dodged the monster's attacks. Yan Luo was happy that there were no strong fluctuations in the boss's health, so the monster should die soon. Watching the battle, Qing Ying told Jiang Chen that she thought the players would kill that monster soon. The boy calmly replied that they would not be able to. Tao Xiaotian asked if it was because of the second skill of the boss that deals a lot of damage. Jiang Chen replied that it was not because of that. The guy added that the girls can only guess why. Tao Xiaotian noted that the boss's attack speed had become much faster. Before, the monster was slow and its attacks did almost no damage. But now, players who are just standing around can't dodge hits. Jiang Chen asked in surprise if the girl actually noticed this. He thought to himself that As expected from the best caster from the last game, this girl was very observant. X-Boy asked the girls if they remember about the fiery life. He explained that in addition to restoring health, the real artifact of this skill is to enhance and change the quality of abilities. As long as the monster absorbs enough life energy, quantitative changes can cause a good effect. Then the monster evolves from silver level to gold level. The girls were shocked by such news that the boss could go to the gold level. Qingying asked, didn't this mean that the boy arranged all of this in order for the boss's development to rise to the gold level? The girl thought to herself that it was impressive to maintain control and confidence in such a situation. Tao Xiaotian said that she understood how miserable those people were. They don't know what they're up against. Meanwhile, the Firestone King's health has already dropped to 9%. President Yan Luo was pleased. He announced to the players that the boss's health had dropped below 10%, so everyone should get ready. They must kill the monster the first time. The warriors and knights from the front ranks attacking the monster shouted together that they understood the order. At the feet of the boss, quickly and imperceptibly, Qi Shi from the heavenly vice crept up. He thought that the last blow would be behind him, so the man was full of determination. Anticipating victory, Qi Shi began counting the percentage of the monster's life. He counted 9%, then 7%, and then 3%. Suddenly, at 2% of life, the King of Firestones roared and a huge flame and glow burst out of him. The players who were next to the monster did not understand what was happening. Someone has speculated that this is the boss's last attack before dying, but Wang Fa Guizong shouted that they were blind because he himself could see how the boss's health had started to rise again. Someone exclaimed that it was true and the monster had somehow evolved. A system message appeared, announcing that it was now a gold-level King of Firestones. The monster roared with renewed vigor. He growled that his anger would devour them all. The King of Firestones released several huge swirls of red-hot magma at the players. Frightened players began to shout that everything was falling apart. Someone pointed out that you can die if you touch this magma. One of the players shouted that he would die first so that the others could be saved. And at that moment, Jiang Chen and his team entered the game. The boy told the girls that now is their time to play. Worried, Tao Xiaotian asked the master if too much hatred had been directed towards them since the guilds were still intact. Jiang Chen smiled and replied that they had nothing to fear. If the guild members dare to challenge him, he will gladly teach them how to be human. After all, they deserve it. The battlefield was in complete chaos. All the players tried to dodge the red-hot magma that the monster constantly released. Wang Fa Guizong ran up to President Yan Luo. He reported that the boss had recovered all his health and they could no longer fight. The man added that they should take what they had already collected to the president of the city of Zuila. Yan Luo was in despair. He replied that it was obvious that the boss's health had recovered, but he could not accept it. With a heavy heart, the president of the Heavenly Court Guild gave the order to call people back. But at that moment, he was attacked by a monster. A huge flow of magma flashed between him and Wanfa Guijing. President Yan Luo barely managed to dodge. Another moment and the second attack of the monster reached its goal. President Yan Luo was still hit. Everything went dark in the man's eyes. After a while, he opened his eyes and vaguely saw Jiang Chen's team approaching him. The man did not understand why he saw hallucinations before death. He thought about how a team of only 3 dared to approach a gold-level boss. Standing over the prone Yan Luo, Jiang Chen noticed that the guild president was more resistant to blows than he had imagined. Qingying smiled and said that their little brother was right. And Tao Xiaotian added that it was too bad that Tai Dao Zhang Yan Luo couldn't hear it. Otherwise, he would have choked on blood from anger. Tao Xiaotian then asked the master if they were going to bring the monster back. Jiang Chen replied not to worry the girls. They need to wait until the boss returns to his place and then fight him again. The boy angrily said that before that. It is necessary to clear the field first. Jiang Chen felt that he was being watched. Turning his gaze upwards, the boy clearly stated that if anyone dared to come closer, he would send them to the rebirth point. These words were addressed to a man and a woman who were hiding in the treetops. They were Yao's reporters, Wang Yangchai and Wang Yinzhou. This couple was a duo of journalists who just didn't have time to leave after recording the first murder. The boy was amazed that Jiang Chen was able to spot them even though they were hiding. And the girl noted that this is exactly the team that the Heavenly Yard Guild was looking for. Wang Yantai asked his partner if they were still filming. He added that he always felt that they could get interesting news from this team. Wang Yinzhou warned the boy not to go there now. She did not want to go back to the city for free, so to speak, and in general, they can wait here. Taking a look at Jiang Chen's team, the journalist noted that there might be big news soon. In the depths of the Ashlands sat the King of Gold tier Firestones in his pit. His new attack was Magma Earth. For every 30% reduction in health, flames covered the surrounding ground and turned it into hot magma with a radius of 25 kilometers. Players take 1000 damage per second, slows the monster by 20% and lasts for 20 seconds. Tao Xiaotian drew Jiang Chen's attention to the fact that after the boss leveled up, he had a new skill, so defeating him became more and more difficult. Jiang Chen calmly replied that he was going to awaken the monster, and he asked the girls to stand as far away as possible and not get hit. Qing Ying's jaw dropped at the ease and confidence with which the boy was just going to kill the boss. Tao Xiaotian pointed out that such words should cheer up those in the guild. Raising his staff to the mountain, Jiang Chen launched one of his attacks, Small World Apocalypse. The King of Firestones began to take damage in the amount of 560 health points per second. The monster roared wildly. He growled that they were all stupid ants and that the magma would surely eat them all. The boss tried to attack Jiang Chen, but Jiang Chen easily dodged. About himself, the boy thought that the apocalypse of the small world deals constant damage to the boss, so he loses 560 health units every second, and he still has Healing Light and Dual Spell in stock. Jiang Chen knew that he could kill this boss 20 minutes before me. Qing Ying was delighted as she watched the priest's actions. She told Tao Xiaotian that it was really cool that the sum of all those people's damage could be compared to that of a single master. Tao Xiaotian was worried and explained that this meant that the boss would be able to use his skill immediately. And so it happened. The monster used the Stone Spike skill. The ground began to crack underfoot. But Jiang Chen was ready. He dodged the huge spikes that appeared from under the ground and slipped between them. Qing Ying once again asked Tao Xiaotian why their little brother was so calm. After all, just now, all those people were very scared and were hiding from the spikes. Tao Xiaotian explained that before the thorn would come out, it had to make a small crack in the ground. Many players can predict this, but they cannot determine the exact location of the spike within a second. Danger can be bypassed with the help of body skills, and only their master is capable of this. The girl added that the great guilds were defeated not only because of the gods, but also because of their own weakness. While Tao Xiaotian was explaining to Qing Ying, Jiang Chen dealt 1660 and 700 health points to the boss, and by casting the Healing Light spell, the damage dealt to the monster increased to 13 and 20 points. Tao Xiaotian went on to say that when someone makes a mistake, they can use their skills to restore their health. Therefore, the more people there are, the more difficult it is to defeat the boss. And most importantly, other players cannot match their master in strength. The monster's health was falling before our eyes and had already reached 83%. The guy's constant attacks took away 560 points of health and double damage caused 1120 points. When the Firestone King's health dropped to 80%, Jiang Chen knew that the next skill the monster would use would be Magma Rain. And so it was. The Firestone King roared and spat out many streams of red-hot magma from his mouth. Jiang Chen remained calm and dodged the red-hot magma very skillfully. Qing Ying was amazed at the speed with which the boy dodged the attacks. Tao Xiaotian said that Magma Rain is a surface-covering ability, and their master chose detours so as not to take damage. The girl said that the boss will die soon. She added that several large guilds had been destroyed, so this monster skill could only be avoided. Jiang Chen then cast a healing spell. When the boss's health dropped to 70%, the monster used Magma Rain again. The boy ran away from the Firestone King a little to a safe distance, at which point the boss began to use his healing skill. Jiang Chen thought that a gold-level Firestone King was really difficult to deal with than a silver one, but the boss couldn't use the player to restore his health. Turning around, the priest attacked the monster with renewed vigor with a healing spell. The boss roared wildly, and red-hot magma burst out of his mouth again. Long tongues of flame burned everything around, the earth, trees, and stones. In the meantime, reporters sneaked up to the battlefield imperceptibly. Wang Yinzhou said that this is big news, that this team really challenged the gold-level boss. Wang Yangcai clarified that they could only hear the sounds of battle, but could not see them. That the team led by the priest is fighting the boss, so they don't have time to look around. Wang Yinzhou tensed. The girl replied to her partner that she did not want to argue with him. She was just about to add something when she suddenly went numb from shock. Something happened that they definitely did not expect. A system message appeared congratulating players on killing the boss, and it was reported that the first kill was completed. King Ying happily jumped up and shouted that the boss was finally defeated. The system has notified that the player mortal has been leveled up to 15. His virtual attribute plus 3 points and plus 112 additional points. Jiang Chen was pleasantly surprised that he had risen 3 levels at once. Objects fell from the killed base. Fire Crystal, the heart of the King of Firestones, which stores energy. This energy is equal to 1,000 hearts of Firestones. This item cannot be sold. Demon Eater Cloak that gave plus 1,000 mana. From additional properties, damage accompanied by the effect of absorbing 10% of mana. Mana protection was triggered automatically when health is reduced by 50%. Mana protection is when all damage taken by a player is compensated by mana. The item was suitable for mages, priests and spellcasters. Could be used from level 15. Lightning Staff, granted plus 140 spell power and plus 140 intelligence. Effect: Lightning Paralysis. Reduces target's attack speed and movement speed by 50% for 1 second. The item is suitable for mages, priests and spellcasters from 15th level. Skill Godstone with 3 stars, used to improve skills. 2 such stones can be combined into a stone of a higher level. Jiang Chen was amazed at such extremely rare items. The boy thought to himself, what a good man he is. He was able to earn so much money. The boy put on a new robe and took a new staff. He said that Demon Eater Cloak's mana protection corresponds to the conversion of mana into health, and with the effect of absorbing mana, he will be able to resist more. And there's the added effect of Lightning Staff Paralysis. Although it only lasts for a few minutes, but with continuous damage, it can trigger multiple times. About himself, the guy noted that with such effects, it will be difficult to defeat him. Jiang Chen revealed the characteristics of his character. It said mana, 2700, spell power, 460, body condition, 24, strength, 24, agility, 24, intelligence, 270. Then, after taking out the obtained skill stone, the boy said that this stone with 3 stars is also very good. If the player has reached level 20, then these stones can be bought in the item shop. A skill godstone with 1 star is worth 500 gold. They can be used to improve other items. 2 1-star skill. Godstones can be synthesized into a 2-star stone. Each skill can only be upgraded 4 times. Jiang Chen understood that no one would buy this stone right now, so he needed to use it himself. And the boy activated the stone. The characteristics of the updated skill have appeared. Small World Apocalypse, 4 stars. Emits light in a 25-meter radius and deals 250% damage every second to all targets. Duration 10 seconds, cooldown 20 seconds. Consumption of mana 50 units. This skill was only suitable for priests. Jiang Chen was very pleased as the range of his skill increased by 5 minius and his power increased by 50%. The boy told Qingying and Tao Xiaotian that they now needed to return to the city. He also wanted to see if he could find someone to help him test the new equipment and skills. Looking around, the boy noted that the people who were hiding still hadn't left. He decided not to pay attention to them. Watching Jiang Chen's team leave the battlefield, Wang Yangchai breathed a sigh of relief and told his partner that it was now good to go. Wang Yinzhou noticed that the priest had just looked at them, which meant that there was no way to hide from them. Then, the girl suddenly jumped up and said loudly that it was no longer important, that they need to hurry, because they have to announce this news first. On the monitor of one of the computers in the real world, while watching the video of the battle with the boss of the Ashlands, a message with a new post appeared, the title of which was intriguing with a story about the secret of the team that killed the boss first. Meanwhile, Jiang Chen's team arrived at Jiulu City. Once in the courtyard of the city estate, the boy said that he would go to the president of the city to complete the quest, and the girls could walk around the estate and look for new tasks. Qing Ying and Tao Xiaotian happily agreed. After knocking on the door of the Jiulu city president's office, Jiang Chen stepped inside and announced that he wanted to complete the task. The president, who was standing and reading a book, looked at the boy and asked how many stones he was able to collect. Jiang Chen took out the Fire Demon King crystal from his inventory with a smile on his face. The president of the city jumped up in surprise and exclaimed that this is the heart of the boss. Taking the crystal in his hands, the man said that, as expected, the boy turned out to be much stronger than he imagined. The president added that ordinary awards will not be able to compare with the king's heart. Jiang Chen replied with a flattering smile that he did not expect much reward. The guy asked that the president just give each of his team members a secret job change book. The president of the city of Jiulu was stunned by such a request. After all, they asked for not just one book, but a book for everyone. The man angrily thought to himself that this is not a wholesale market. That's why the president refused the boy, saying that even in the whole city you can't find 3 such books. Jiang Chen objected, and with puppy eyes began to ask for the books that should be available. The boy recalled how much effort he and his team had put into killing the King of Firestones. Under pressure from the boy, the city president replied that he should not talk so much nonsense. In the best case, there will be only one book about changing jobs, and he will give others a copy of the books Growth and Blessings. Jiang Chen was delighted and agreed to such a deal. The guy noted that the president of this city is a good person. The man was not satisfied with such frivolities, so he asked the boy to take his reward and go away. The president thought to himself that this guide is very unpleasant. Jiang Chen was pleased because he did get the hard-to-find secret job change book, as well as the valuable Growth and Blessing books. The specifications stated that the secret job changer book offered the ability to change professions after completing a limited task, and the hidden skills of the profession were not exchangeable. Book of Water Growth gave 100% experience. This item's effect could not be stacked or transferred. Blessing of the City added 10 units to all attributes and gave the opportunity to be released from the court in the city of Jiulu once. Jiang Chen thought that with the city blessing, things would become much more interesting. The boy wrote a message to the girls asking them to help him find out about the situation in the Heavenly Court Guild. Jiang Chen understood that Taidao Zhang Yanluo would not be able to accept such a huge loss. Qingqing replied that she had just seen the video. The news that they were the first to kill the boss had already spread. They say that the president of the Heavenly Court Guild has already exploded with anger. Tao Xiaotian wrote that President Yan Lo threatened on the forum that he would make their team look bad. The girl asked what they should do now. When Jiang Chen met the girls at a designated place in the manor, Qing Ying excitedly reported that the Heavenly Court Guild was intimidating people. She asked if they would put them in place. Jiang Chen replied that he did not like to follow her example. He asked the girl to stay at the estate and find new tasks. The boy added that he would meet unfriendly guests alone. Meanwhile, in the temporary residence of the Heavenly Court Guild, one of the guild members informed the president that the priest of that team had left the estate of Jiulu City alone. President Yan Luo said that the boy finally dared to go out alone. It seemed to him that the impudent priest really did not take their guild seriously. The president noted that this team has ruined his reputation more than once, so they just need to take the priest and take all their anger out on him. Yan Luo ordered 50 people to be brought and capture the priest, and then he would deal with him personally. Ting Ting Paohui shouted for the president not to bother. The man loudly proclaimed that he would definitely show that team how powerful their guild was. Later, on one of the streets of Juilu City, Ten Ting Pao Hui asked the assistant if he was sure that the information was correct, that the priest is exactly on this street. The boy replied that he saw with his own eyes how the priest entered this alley. Filled with anger and determination, Ten Ting Pao Hui entered the alley with his men and ordered the priest to be found. Here, Jiang Chen came out from around the corner of the building and asked if they were looking for him. Shadow Ting Pao Hui asked the boy if he was really that priest from the Ashlands, and then he shouted that it was impossible to kill that boss. Through gritted teeth, the man said that the boy and his team had done this on purpose to trap them. Jiang Chen calmly replied that they were so helpless, and the fact that they couldn't handle the monster had nothing to do with him. Pao Hui became angry and cursed. He growled at the boy to stop making excuses. The man warned that if the boy dared to play with the Heavenly Court Guild, he would regret it. Shadow Ting Pao Hui took a fighting stance and shouted that he would send the boy to the novice village today. And the next moment, he attacked the priest with a fiery explosion spell. His henchmen also attacked the boy. The priest was simultaneously attacked by warriors, knights, magicians, and even archers. Jiang Chen asked Pao Hui with a calm expression why he was in such a hurry to die, and then he added that he just needed to try out a new skill. The guy raised his staff and used his improved attack on his opponents. Small World Apocalypse. All of Tianting Pao Hui's people, including himself, fell within the radius of the spell's magic circle. The priest's attack began to damage them in the amount of 1,200 points. Ting Pao Hui could not understand what kind of attack this was. And when I realized that I was dying, I thought that this should not have happened. Jiang Chen only said that he had not tried everything yet. Therefore, it seems to him that the next test of skills, it is necessary to find monsters. Then the boy noticed that there was one fish left that managed to slip out of his net. It was one of Pao Hui's archers running towards the main street. The man roared after the boy that no matter what means the priest used, he would still be punished. This is the main city, a safe zone, so the guards won't let them go. Hearing the fugitives mumbling, Jiang Chen indifferently replied that he didn't know if he would die or not, but he knew that the archer would die for sure. And the boy attacked the man with a spell. The archer lost all his health from a powerful blow. At the end, the man shouted that the guard would come and that the priest will not be happy. The guards of the city really converged on the screams. One of the guards shouted that the use of force was prohibited within the city limits. Anyone who breaks this law will die. A system message appeared, indicating that the main city council was taking effect. The system asked if the player wants to cancel it. Determined, Jiang Chen cancelled the function. When the guard saw the boy, he immediately recognized him. The man apologized to Mr. Mortal for bothering him. The guard noted that since Mr. Death is responsible for the city of Zuila, they will not punish him. But they asked the boy not to do so in the future. Jiang Chen agreed with the guard. For himself, the boy noted that it was a pity that he could only be released from court once a day, so he needed to think of something. Next, Jiang Chen came to the grocery store. Before changing his profession, he needed to buy several bottles of mana and 2 teleportation stones. Half an hour later in the city estate, the boy was laying out his equipment on the store shelves. He put the magical demon armor up for auction to attract more buyers. The system then asked the player if he wanted to open a profession change task. Jiang Chen confirmed. The system noted that the player started a mission to change to another profession. It was called Scourge of the Red Flame. In the details of the mission, it was stated that in the south of the Fire City is the ancient land of Qian, which was touched by the demon god. A huge conspiracy was brewing. Therefore, it is necessary to complete the task according to the following instructions. Go to the ancient lands and find the rebel Yiding to start the next task. Jiang Chen was surprised to receive such a task. The boy thought about the fact that, in a past life, the Aborigines of the ancient Qian lands had suddenly revolted. The entire city was destroyed and a large number of players died. It was the first time a major city had been completely destroyed. The uprising spread to other large cities. The system was unable to launch the Protect the Main City mission to clear the disaster, so the City of Fire was abandoned. Jiang Chen thought that this mission should be a systematic response plan. The City of Fire was destroyed in a past life. Probably, someone received a task and did not cope with it. Suddenly, an announcement from the server appeared. It said that the player dancing under the moon had removed the demon suppressing seal from above Qian and moved on to the fighting monsters in the fireplace task. Jiang Chen was shocked because there was no such task in his past life. 10 minutes later, a woman stood in front of a huge blue crystal in the Qian lands. The system reported that the crystal pillar of spellcasting had been broken. It was used to hold back the monsters of the abyss. The column was subjected to years of erosion and collapsed at the slightest external impact. The woman standing next to the crystal was a killer named Dancing Under the Moon. She touched the pillar. There was a warning that as soon as the pillar was destroyed, monsters would break out and attack the city. It is necessary to resist the attack of monsters. The woman pressed harder and the crystal began to crack. The first system tip appeared that any player who completes the task will receive additional rewards. +150 free attribute points. If the task is not completed, the player will receive a penalty. Second tip, monsters will appear here after starting the task. Lots of regular monsters and some bosses. The woman carefully read all system messages. The woman understood that uncontrollability was too high. Currently, the highest player level is 15. They have to do everything they can to kill the silver level boss. If a gold level boss appears, players are more likely to surrender. The killer, Dancing Under the Moon, knew very well that as soon as the task failed, she would receive a fine. Therefore, she could not allow it. The woman could not just give up, so she decided to go to the forum to find a solution. Among various news on the forum, the woman saw a post about the team that was able to defeat the King of Firestones. Dancing Under the Moon was amazed that a small team of only 3 people was able to kill the gold-level boss. And if someone managed to achieve such combat power, then it can act. The next moment, the woman jumped up to the crystal pillar and hit it with all her might. A system message appeared, announcing that the crystal pillar that held back the monsters had been destroyed. A mission must be completed. There was also a server announcement for everyone that the player Dancing Under the Moon has started a mission. It was necessary to resist the invasion of monsters. Meanwhile, in Jiulu City, Qingying and Tao Xiaotian were reading the messages coming from the system. Qingying was delighted to note that it was a complete server mission. It has been reported that the crystal pillar has been destroyed, so the gate will release monsters after 12 hours and open fully after 24 hours. A very large number of monsters will appear and they will eat 9 pillars. Mission requirements. You must destroy all the monsters before the 9 pillars are completely destroyed. Quest rewards. The more monsters destroyed, the higher the level and the more riches. But if the mission is failed, all attributes of the participants will decrease by 20%. After reading this, Tao Xiaotian understood that the reward for the mission was unknown and that they would receive a rather severe penalty for failure. The girl wrote to the master in the chat and asked if they accept this mission. Jiang Chen replied, yes. The boy also understood that although this task did not start in his past life, it was actually very useful for him. He will be able to complete the task of changing his profession at the same time. Jiang Chen chatted to the girls that they were meeting tomorrow at 7 a.m. at the teleportation point of Jiulu City. And the boy himself first decided to go to the treasure pavilion to put the goods on the shelves and only then go to sleep. After all, tomorrow morning they are going on a mission. Taking off his virtual reality helmet, Jiang Chen was sitting on his sofa at home. The boy thought that even the Immortals could not cope with the load. The boy's stomach grumbled, and he said that he would have to buy food first, otherwise it would be uncomfortable to play on an empty stomach. Then his neighbor Xiaoruye knocked on his door. The girl called the boy to eat when he finishes playing. Pulling on his t-shirt, Jiang Chen opened the door for the girl and asked, how did Sister Ruya know that he had finished playing? Xiaoruye replied that she had just gone to dry her clothes and saw the light on in his room. The girl added that even if he earns from games, he should be more prudent. Ruya asked the boy, is he not afraid to die by taking food only once a day? Waving off the towel, the girl said that she had left and he should go downstairs. There is food waiting for him. Jiang Chen asked if Sister Ruya was sure that the food was definitely downstairs. The girl stopped. She turned around and flirtatiously asked if the boy wanted to be a naughty boy. After all, his sister can satisfy him. Jiang Chen was drooling with joy. He asked if it was true. Ruye smiled and replied that she was joking. She hurried the boy, saying that she did not want him to die of hunger in her house. Jiang Chen agreed. On the second day, near the teleportation point of Juilu City, Qingying and Tao Xiaotian were surrounded by a whole crowd of players. Members of various guilds offered Qingying to join them. Someone lured with treatment of the highest level, someone with double salary. Qingying told Tao Xiaotian that if they had known earlier, they would not have come here. Tao Xiaotian agreed with her and replied that she herself did not know how these people knew that they would be here. Tao Xiaotian turned her gaze away from the crowd and happily announced that their master had arrived. Making his way through the crowd, Jiang Chen asked the girls what was going on here. Qingying explained that representatives of various guilds say that they are among the top 10. She did not understand why all these people were looking for her. Jiang Chen told Qingying to ignore it. He announced to the girls that they were heading to the City of Fire. A moment later, Jiang Chen's team teleported to the Fire City. They found themselves at the teleportation point along with several other players. Looking around, Qingying noticed that the pavilion in the fireplace was completely different from the pavilion in Juilu. It seemed that everything there was made of white jade, that the designers were too skilled. Jiang Chen thought to himself that it would be better to say that the creators are too powerful. The boy then said that, to begin with, they needed to go to the Qian lands. Then they will have enough time to explore the city. Qingying asked if it was possible to teleport there. Jiang Chen said no. If they want to get to the Qian lands, they must pass through the Desert of Death. After some time in the Desert of Death, Qingying looked around and asked if this was the same desert. Tao Xiaotian asked the master if it would be difficult for them to pass through this desert. Passing by the large number of scattered skeletons peeking out from under the sand, Jiang Chen told the girls that these were not just bones lying in this sand, that these are traces of their predecessors. That is why this place is called the Desert of Death. Jiang Chen said that the wildest monsters here are death worms, which are level 15. These desert monsters are not very strong, but they have good camouflage. Therefore, girls should carefully look under their feet. Tao Xiaotian and Qingying felt uneasy. Qingying said that it was too scary, and Tao Xiaotian thought that it might scare away most of the players, so she felt that this mission would not be easy for everyone. Meanwhile, players who had come to complete the server's big task began to pass through the gate to the Qian lands. Reporters were among them. Wang Yangchai complained that this place was too hot. Wang Yinzhou asked him to be patient because this mission is the biggest on the entire server, so they should get the most out of it. The assassin dancing with the moon was also watching the arriving players. She noted that several players had already passed through the gate, but that team had not yet arrived. She wondered why everything was so calm, and finally she waited. Jiang Chen and his team entered the Qian ancient lands through the gate. The boy looked around and asked himself if this is what the ancient land of Qian really looks like. Qingying noticed that everything around looked more like an abandoned place. Stopping, the boy felt that another target was approaching them. He turned and told the girls that she had come. A woman came out from the corner of the building. She wondered if the guy was able to find her even in the shelter. Dancing with the Moon thought to herself that this team is worthy to kill the boss first. Jiang Chen asked the woman if she was the one called Moon Dancer, and why was she following them? The woman directly replied that she wanted to cooperate with their team. Moon Dancer said that they should know that she was the one who started this mission, so she has more information and can share it with them. But Jiang Chen asked the woman what exactly she meant by "but." The dancer under the moon said she had two conditions. The first is to allow her to join their team. Second, during the execution of the mission, all members of the team must obey all its instructions. Jiang Chen was puzzled by such a request and immediately firmly replied that it was impossible. Qingying and Tao Xiaotian agreed with the priest and thought that this woman was too arrogant. Dancing Under the Moon exclaimed that she had no other intentions. She just wants to complete this mission successfully, and with her guidance and commands, they will have a better chance. Jiang Chen looked at the woman with a smile and said that he thought she was wrong. The boy noted that he could complete this mission without her information. Jiang Chen turned around and waved at the woman to tell her that they were leaving, so he would see her later. Dancing with the Moon thought that the guy must be crazy, but this was her only hope. The woman shouted for them to wait. She ran up to the priest and asked to join them, and in return she would provide them with useful information about the mission. Jiang Chen agreed on the condition that she must now follow all his instructions. Qing Ying added with a smile that they had no opinion of their own, that they obeyed the master completely. After the system message indicating that the moon dancer had joined the team, Jiang Chen asked the woman exactly what information she knew. Dancing Under the Moon told that there are sealed gates. There are sealed gates on Qian Mountain, and there are several of them. Among them are 9 bronze gates, 3 silver and 1 gold. Doors open every hour in order of increasing monster strength. These sealed gates will open in half an hour, so they better hurry. King reminded the woman that she was not their squad leader. Dancing Under the Moon replied that she was simply afraid of failing the mission of the entire server. The information she is about to share next is about magical energy. When the sealed gates are opened, not only monsters but also devilish energy will come out. People infected with this devilish energy will not be able to regenerate blood and will die quickly. Bronze level energy contamination will reduce indicators by 10% and silver level by 20%. When infected with a gold level, attributes will decrease by 40%. Therefore, you should try not to get too close to the sealed gates. The best way is to find a good place in advance. Jiang Chen asked Dancing Under the Moon if she finished. The woman added that there was also an important item called Demon Fragment Suppression that could temporarily close the sealed gate. This special prop is scattered all over Qian Mountain, and it will take time to find it. Jiang Chen replied that he already knew about it. He asked if Dancing Under the Moon had the exact location of the sealed gates. The woman replied that she had a map so she could take them there right now. The guy said he had other things to do. To begin with, you need to go to the nearest village. The dancer under the moon was furious but kept silent. The woman thought that she had already told so much about herself, and the boy still did not follow her. Maybe he is playing with her. She decided to suffer him for the sake of the mission. Jiang Chen and his team arrived at Wumen village. The boy approached the old man who was sitting under the building and asked him if he knew a man named Yindi. The old man asked the name and then said that he was taken away yesterday. Most likely, that man is locked up in the prison of the Holy City. The boy was shocked by such news. After all, Yindi was supposed to be located precisely in the ancient lands of Qian. Jiang Chen didn't understand why that man wasn't here. Calming down a little, the boy thought that it must be a lie. Jiang Chen asked the old man if he knew where Yindi often lived. The man said that he lives just over the hill at the end of the village. A wooden house was built there. The boy thanked. Jiang Chen asked the girls to wait for him here in the village. Dancing with the Moon was annoyed. She said they keep postponing the mission. The woman asked the girls if they still wanted to do the mission. After all, they allow you to waste your time. King coldly replied that the moon dancer herself wanted to join their team. They didn't ask her to. The girl asked in response, "Does the woman know exactly which team she is in?" Tao Xiaotian added that if Sister Yue is uncomfortable, she can leave the team. The woman replied that she knew. She got angry and asked herself, "Is this really the team that obeys the priest?" Meanwhile, Jiang Chen reached a wooden house on the edge of the village. The boy understood that Yindi was in the village of Qian lands. Maybe he ran away, so this is his most likely hiding place. Having entered the middle, the boy loudly asked Yindi to leave, because he knows that he's here. The door of the closet opened and the rebel Yindi peeked out. The man asked Jiang Chen if he was really a traveler who came from other lands. Jiang Chen smiled and replied that he had come to help. Yindi said he would believe the traveler. The man handed the boy a letter and asked him to send it to Lisan, with a request to tell her that he was slandered, that he did not touch that woman. The system reported that the player received a new requisite, Yindi's letter, and started the mission. Current task: go to the Holy Palace in the sacred city of the Red Flame. Find Lisan, the servant of the Holy Lord, and give her the letter. Jiang Chen reassured Yindi and replied that he knew what to do. Returning to the village to the girls, Jiang Chen informed them that they were going to the Red Flame City. The dancer under the moon was very unhappy. She asked the boy to wait and explained to her what he was even doing. The woman took out her weapon and said that the mission would begin soon. Threatening with a weapon, she asked where they had gathered. Jiang Chen replied that the first sealed gates were bronze level. Therefore, whether they leave or not, it will not affect the situation in any way. The boy turned away and said that he had a more important task. The dancer under the moon suddenly jumped up to the boy and, holding a knife to his throat, said that he could not leave. The woman added that she had already given them all the information about the mission. Therefore, now they must prove that it was not in vain. Jiang Chen asked, "How to prove?" Grabbing the dancing under the moon by the hand, the boy easily broke her and asked if that was enough. It turned out that Jiang Chen was holding the hand with the weapon behind the woman's back, and she was bending forward a little. In this position, the boy did not intentionally press his causal place to the buttocks of the dancing under the moon. The picture turned out to be very spicy. The woman screamed and shouted for the guy to let her go. Jiang Chen let go of his hand and said that she asked herself. And I thought to myself that it was a pretty good collision. Red-cheeked, the woman asked if the boy could do it after a long time of idleness. And by evidence, she means a real battle. Jiang Chen replied that if she had no free time, she could leave the team and go there alone, or join another team, and he will pay for intelligence. The boy called out to Qingying and Tao Xiaotian that it was time for them to go. And then he turned sharply and, glancing at the other side of the street, loudly said that he was talking about reporters just now. He asked if they had looked yet. Wang Yangkai and Wang Yinzhou walked in from around the corner. The man greeted everyone. Wang Yinzhou waved her hand and thought to herself that this priest was too skillful. Wang Yinzhou began to say that some of the players might not believe it, but they were really server workers. They just happened to see Jiang Chen's team and wanted to watch. Wang Yankai looked at his partner with a petrified face and thought to himself that she was the one who said that the main character of their video was here, so they should follow them. The guy noted that all pretty girls lie. Jiang Chen suddenly exclaimed as he remembered. What exactly were they hiding in that forest? Wang Yinzhou replied with a smile that she just wanted to record some material. Nothing bad, Jiang Chen said with the same smile that he understood. The guy asked if they could now use their official account to promote it, and in the title, write that gold-level equipment is for sale in the treasure pavilion on the first floor of Zuilu Manor. Jiang Chen asked the reporters what they thought about it. Wang Yinzhou was puzzled. After a minute, an exhausted Wang Yingzhou told her partner that she thought they were being separated. Wang Yangkai agreed with her. Jiang Chen informed Dancer Under the Moon that he was going to the Red Flame Sacred City. The guy asked the woman if she thought about what she was going to do. He thought to himself that he didn't know if she could be of any use to them. The woman asked if they remember that it is necessary to kill all the monsters before the 9 pillars collapse. She just got a mission reminder. All the players who arrived in the Qian lands have already been attacked by monsters. Jiang Chen replied that, according to the most modest estimates, tens of thousands of players participate in the mission. He asked if those players couldn't even stop the bronze-level gate monsters. Are those players that useless? The boy asked Dancing Under the Moon. Where exactly the city gates of demons are located? She replied that the gate was at the foot of the mountain in the east, a 10-minute walk from the nearest sealed gates. Jiang Chen pondered. He wondered again, couldn't thousands of players stop the monsters? The guy asked if other players get the same reminder she got. The Dancer Under the Moon shook her head and replied that only the one who launched the mission can receive such messages. Jiang Chen said that he understood everything. All players kill the monsters on Qian Mountain. They do not know that some monsters are near the city. The guy added that it seemed like they needed to go there. A system message appeared stating that the Moon Dancer had left the team. The woman said that she would wait for the boy on Qian Mountain and asked him to write to her in the friends chat. Finally, Dancing Under the Moon shyly and tenderly asked the boy if he would fail her. Jiang Chen did not expect such a request. The guy sighed and remarked about himself that this woman was quite attractive. Tao Xiaotian held an angry Qing Ying. The girl shouted that Tao Xiaotian would not disturb her, that she would kill that woman because she was seducing their brother. Tao Xiaotian asked Qing Ying to calm down. 10 minutes passed, and the company found themselves in the sacred city of the Red Flame. A guard stood near the gate to the majestic and beautiful palace of the city. Qing Ying was shocked. She said that she did not expect that there could be such a beautiful building in such a deserted city. Looking at the guard, Jiang Chen thought that it was not so easy to enter here. When the boy and the girls wanted to pass through the gate to the manor, their path was blocked by a guard. The guards were informed that entry to the Saint Lord's palace was by invitation only. Jiang Chen replied that he was going to see Ms. Lisang. He has a letter for her. The guard asked if the boy wanted to deliver the letter. The other guard asked Jiang Chen to wait while he reported back. Jiang Chen thought that Lisan seemed to have a rather high status in the sacred city. He hoped that he would be able to meet her without any problems. A few minutes passed and the guard announced that the lady was waiting for him in the garden. Jiang Chen was able to enter the grounds of the St. Lord's palace. The girl stayed at the gate because only the one who delivered the letter could enter. The guy asked the girls to wait for him outside. After inspecting the palace grounds and the number of guards, Jiang Chen noted that the sacred city was very well guarded. Yindi wouldn't be able to get in here. Having reached the garden, the boy saw a young girl sitting at a table waiting for him on the terrace. It was Mrs. Lisan. The girl asked if he brought a letter. She then held out her hand and asked Jiang Chen to give it to her. The guy asked if she knew who exactly sent her this letter. Mrs. Lisan strangely replied that no one else could accept Yindi. With sly eyes, the girl added that the man was very capable. He even managed to avoid the guards. Paying attention to Ms. Lisan's unfriendly voice and expression, Jiang Chen realized that she did not have any romantic feelings for Yindi. Ms. Lisan looked at the boy sternly and asked if he was Yindi's friend. Jiang Chen assured the lady that this was not the case, that he is only a traveler who delivered a letter. About himself, the guy noted that this woman looks quite evil. Mrs. Lisan smiled and happily said that when he is a traveler, he can easily manage. The girl said that she has a mission for him. With a predatory look, the girl said that she needed the boy to kill Yindi. The system asked the player if he accepts Ms. Lisan's emergency mission to kill Yindi. There was also a system tip, that this mission was related to a secret profession change. If Yindi dies, the mission will fail. Jiang Chen was amazed. About himself, he noted that this beautiful woman has a very cruel heart. The boy felt that this was a very dangerous situation. In response, Jiang Chen smiled at the young lady and said that he would be happy to serve her. And mentally, he began to look for a way out of this difficult situation. The system announced the acceptance of the mission from the customer Lisan to kill Yindi. The reward for completing the mission was 1,000 gold coins. Mrs. Lisan herself smiled benevolently and thanked the brave traveler. There was a message about the completion of the letter delivery mission. It was also mentioned that in order to start the next task, it was necessary to find a way to leave the sacred city and tell Yindi about Lisan. Jiang Chen breathed a sigh of relief as he walked away. He understood that Lisan could kill him if he refused her. The guy remembered an old proverb which said that a woman is like a tiger, untouchable. Jiang Chen wanted to return as soon as possible to complete the task. He always felt that this task was related to the overall mission of the server. When the boy was passing by the garden, he noticed one flower in the flower bed that stood out strongly. Against the background of all other lushly blooming flowers, this one began to dry for unknown reasons. Looking at the flower, Jiang Chen was struck by lightning. He thought that maybe this was a prop for the mission. Judging from my years of gaming experience, this type of mission was a series of tasks. The boy decided that if he digs up a flower, he will not get hurt. Taking a shovel from the inventory, Jiang Chen dug up a wilted flower and took it with him. Returning to the village of Wuman, Jiang Chen knocked on the door of the hut where Yindi lived. The man opened the door and immediately rushed to the boy with the question, was he able to deliver the letter to Lisan? Jiang Chen replied that he had delivered the letter, but had been instructed by Ms. Lisan to kill him. Yindi couldn't believe it. He shouted that Lisan saved him and they swore to each other for life. The man did not believe that the girl could do such a thing. Jiang Chen was puzzled. He thought that the Lisan of Yindi's stories was different from the one he had seen. Yindi began to tremble, and clutching his head, he told that a month ago he confessed his love to Lisan, and she let him into the holy city. But last night, suddenly, out of nowhere, a woman appeared on his bed. Then the guards burst into the room and declared that he had raped that woman, and for this they want to bring him to court. Yindi shouted to Jiang Chen that he was asking him to deliver the letter in which he wrote the truth. And the guy is now saying that Lisan wants to kill him? Jiang Chen asked Yindi if he ever thought that she was the one who made this plot. The boy thought that the chaos in the Qian lands had started because the Saint Master had been bewitched by a demon. Lisan was a Saint Lord's servant, and her personality changed dramatically. Jiang Chen asked the man, what exactly did he see when he was in the holy city? Yindi thought. Suddenly, Yindi exclaimed that he remembered. While patrolling the sacred palace, he saw a dead sleeper and wrote to Lisan about it in the chat. Jiang Chen took out a jar from his backpack that contained a wilted flower that he had dug up in the garden of the Saint Lord's palace. Handing the can to Yindi, the boy asked if that's what he meant. Yindi was at first a little puzzled, and then, for a few minutes, he was enthralled, carefully examining the flower in the jar. The man replied that sunflowers are planted on these lands and they have their own smell, but he smells a strange aroma. He needs to rely on his cold to neutralize the burning aura of the Jiang flower. Yindi then asked the traveler to lead him to the Forest of Love at the foot of Qian Mountain. A system message appeared with a new task, escorting Yindi. Jiang Chen replied that he would be happy to do so. After a while, Jiang Chen, along with his companions Qing Ying and Tao Xiaotian, came with Yindi to the foot of the mountain. It was quite gloomy and deserted there. Jiang Chen asked Yindi if this was really the Forest of Love. And where did the trees go? The man asked them to wait a moment before using his magic. A magic circle appeared in the air, which shone and streams of energy escaped from it. The system announced the opening of the magical massif of the Forest of Love. Yindi explained that there was no snow and no magic like this in the Qian ancient lands before. 15 years ago, young Chang Feng came here to practice and fell in love with a local girl. But the good times did not last long. The old ruler of the city was very ill, and young Chen Feng was forced to leave the Qian lands. The girl who grew up in the ancient lands of Qian had never seen snowflakes. This Forest of Love is a parting gift that young Chang Feng left for her. Everything around began to be covered with a white blanket, trees covered with snow appeared, and snowflakes began to fall from the sky. Qing Ying and Tao Xiaotian were moved by the beauty around and such a romantic story. Jiang Chen knew in his past life that young Chang Feng was the ruler of the city and possessed the elements of fire and ice. But the boy did not expect such a story. He asked what happened next. Yindi went on to say that the girl had gone through many trials and become the lord of the Red Flame Holy Land, so she hid this place. Qing Ying and Tao Xiaotian said with a sad expression on their faces that they were very sorry. Jiang Chen, on the other hand, thought that in his past life, the unrest in the Qian lands and the destruction of the city happened because of the Saint Lord. The guy let go of the curse, realizing that adult love is very exciting. Jiang Chen then asked Yindi, if the story is over, is it time to purify the land? Yindi agreed with him and added that there was no need to wait any longer. Taking a jar with a withered flower, Yindi began a magical act. He said it would take about 5 hours to clear the ground where the flower was sitting, so he asked the company to wait here. Tao Xiaotian whispered to Jiang Chen that they had no more time. In the general chat of the game, a message appeared that some player accidentally destroyed the last seal. The task has changed, and the speed of opening gates has increased. Tao Xiaotian explained that now a new gate would open every half hour. The 4th gate will open very soon. With a serious expression on her face, the girl added that judging by the data on the forum, after the gates of the silver and gold levels are opened, the pillars will most likely fall. Jiang Chen turned to Yindi and asked him to purify the land. And when he returns, they will finish everything. The man replied that there were no problems and wished the traveler luck. Jiang Chen told the girls that they were going to Qian Mountain. Meanwhile, in the Holy Palace, one of the guards reported to Mrs. Lisan that before leaving, the traveller lingered in the garden. Mrs. Lisan replied that she knew about it and let the guard go. The girl was angry. She thought to herself that this traveller was very cunning, and it seems that she will still have to meet him. After using magic, Lisan disappeared. There were fierce battles between players and demons on Qian Mountain. Among them was the Heavenly Court Guild, led by its president Tai Dao Zhang Yan Luo. One of the guild members spotted Jiang Chen's team approaching the mountain. He loudly informed his president and other members about it. Some of the players happily said that they finally came because they thought that this team would refuse to go through the full mission at all. The warrior player replied that there were rumors that all the members of the Heavenly Court Guild had come to avenge their disgrace. This team of 3 quickly defeated the gold-level boss, humiliating the other players. Another mage player smiled and said that must have been a lot of fun to watch. System announced that Jiang Chen's team had entered the territory of Qian Mountain and had officially begun a full mission. A task template has been opened. They had to kill monsters to get points. The more points, the better the rewards. It has been stated that in team mode, the player gets 80% of the kills and the team gets 20% of the points, which can be distributed as you see fit. Current and total scores were 0. Qingying asked Jiang Chen where they should go next. And Jiang Chen, in turn, wrote in the Dancing Under the Moon chat that they had already arrived at Qian Mountain and asked where she was. The boy then replied to Qingying that they would go to Dancing Under the Moon to begin with. The woman wrote that she is near the 9th pillar of Mount Qian. She kills the bosses that appear from the 4th gate. Jiang Chen wrote in the chat that they are already on their way to her. A few minutes later, Jiang Chen was finally joined by Qingying and Tao Xiaotian as she stood in the middle of the corpses of the slain demons. The girls called the woman Sister Yue. The moon dancer noted that they returned rather quickly. She thought they would come only when the last gate opened. The woman said it was time to kill the monsters. Fierce battles with demons were raging all over the territory of Qian Mountain. Yu said that the sealed gate opened too quickly, so the players didn't have time to react. The system announced that the 5th sealed gate would soon open. Since a large number of monsters are destroyed, the 6th gate will also be unlocked. Jiang Chen tensed after reading the message. He asked if they were really going to open 2 gates at once. Other players were in a difficult position. The demons were advancing too quickly, and the mana of the mages, priests and spellcasters who did not have time to restore it was running out just as quickly. A pack of demons also rushed towards Jiang Chen's team. The one who danced under the moon was the first to prepare for the attack and stepped forward. Returning to the boy, she asked if the priest did not want to retreat. Jiang Chen interpreted this as a hint that he was fragile. The boy replied that he was not going to back down. Raising his staff, Jiang Chen cast his spell, Healing. A powerful blow landed on one of the demons, which dropped his health to 80%. The boy was surprised that he took away only 5,000 health points from the monster. Jiang Chen said that the monsters were too far apart. He asked Qingying to gather them into a pile. The girl gladly agreed to help and said to rely on her. The dancer under the moon, hearing this instruction, said that it was too dangerous. Tao Xiaotian took the woman's hand and asked Sister Yue not to worry. Qingying stepped forward. When the demons rushed at the girl in a group, she blocked their attack with her shield. Jiang Chen took out a magical crystal ball and used it with one of his powerful group spells, Small World Apocalypse. A whole group of monsters took massive damage at once. Each of the demons suffered a loss of 2,400 health points. Dancing Under the Moon even had her jaw hanging. She couldn't believe that a priest had done it. And in general, it's some kind of hell. Jiang Chen instructed Qingying to wait until her strength recovered. That they would gather together the demons and then he would finish. The girl replied that she understood everything. A few minutes later, the priest and the knight were surrounded by demons. Jiang Chen told Qingying to get ready. When the demons attacked them again, the girl blocked them with a shield, and the boy again used the spell, Small World Apocalypse. Dancing Under the Moon was amazed. She asked Tao Xiaotian if this guy was really human. Tao Xiaotian replied that he was the strongest. The girl thought that she also wanted to work hard to be like a master. After killing the demons, Jiang Chen said that killing such monsters takes a long time. He said that they were going to close the gate, killing demons along the way. Moon Dancer said that each sealed gate released 3 groups of normal monsters and 1 group of elite monsters. That this is most likely the first batch of ordinary monsters from the 5th gate. After defeating the demons, the woman added that ordinary monsters give 10 points but no equipment. Only bosses can find some items. Having also killed one of the demons, Jiang Chen noted that this was to be expected, but despite the limitation in items, quite a lot of experience was given. The system announced that the Moon Dancer's level had increased to level 6. Xing Ying and Tao Xiaotian informed their master that they had reached level 15. Jiang Chen replied that it was not bad, and he thought to himself that when the girls ascended, his speed of passing the game would increase. The dancer under the moon warned the girls not to be in a hurry to rejoice. Soon they will arrive at the 5th sealed gate, and the area around her is covered with demonic energy. If they get too close, you can get infected. After being infected with magical energy, a negative state will appear. Then they will not be able to restore health, and after death, all attributes will decrease by 20%. With a completely calm expression on his face, Jiang Chen said that everything was clear and that it was completely normal. At the same moment, a system message appeared, notifying them that they had been infected with silver-level demonic energy. The dancer under the moon was annoyed and did not understand the boy because this was enough to drive ordinary players to despair. She wished he would stop talking about things like that so calmly. The woman advised the boy to stay away from this energy as much as possible. Jiang Chen, on the other hand, offered to enter the middle of the 5th gate. Dancing Under the Moon was shocked. She does not understand the priest's thoughts at all. The guy explained that waiting outside would take too long. The dancer under the moon reminded him that if they died, their attributes would be significantly reduced. Walking forward, Jiang Chen replied that these monsters would not be able to kill him. Qing Ying and Tao Xiaotian followed the boy in silence. Meanwhile, in the forest of love and snow, Yindi continued to use his magic to clean the pot of soil that contained the flower from the Saint Lord's palace garden. The man thought that when the land was cleared, he would be able to find out where this strange smell was coming from. While Yindi was busy with magic, a magic circle appeared behind him, from which Ms. Lisan emerged. Yindi sensed that the disguise of the forest of love began to waver. He thought that perhaps it was the traveller who had returned. When he looked around, he was quite surprised to see Lisan in front of him. The man only managed to shout her name. The next moment, Lisan bound him with magical chains and lifted him into the air. Yindi asked the girl to stop and tell him what happened to her. He offered to figure everything out together, but with a wave of her hand, Lisan made him shut up, covering his mouth with chains. The girl picked up a jar with a flower from the ground. Taking the can, Lisan used her magic again and disappeared. Meanwhile, inside the sealed gate, Jiang Chen's team encountered something unusual. The Moon Dancer said that this is the boss of the 5th sealed gate, Moon Demon Wolf. Only Jiang Chen wanted to say something to Qing Ying. How a system message with an urgent task appeared. It was said that Lisan took the glass container. It had to be returned, otherwise the profession change mission would not be completed. Due to mysterious powers, the sealed gold level gate will be opened 15 minutes later. Jiang Chen was shocked and didn't understand what the hell was going on. The dancer under the moon asked the boy if he got this message too. She thinks this is a server-wide message. The system announced that due to mysterious forces, the seals of the other gates could not be broken, so the gates would soon be closed and restored. An enraged Jiang Chen said that they needed to act urgently. Running out of the 5th gate, the boy announced to the girls that they urgently needed to go to the Golden Gate. He thought to himself that 2 tasks are running at the same time, which means that there must be a connection between them. Therefore, you must complete the full mission first. The Moon Dancer said she would run ahead of the team. Everyone else followed her. After a while, other players gathered at the sealed gold level gate. A member of the Heavenly Court Guild, Wang Fa Guizong, told his president that he felt that this gate would open soon. President Yan Luo ordered everyone to prepare because the battle was going to be tough. The assistant said that the other gates were closed. That's why all the players from Qian Mountain have gathered here, and that priest's team will also come soon. The man asked if the president wanted to take advantage of the chaos. President Yan Luo replied that the priest's power was too strange. Therefore, it is necessary to assess the situation first. The president of the Dynasty Guild, the Crown Prince, was also at the gate. He noted that players from all over the map gathered here, which is why this mission is so interesting. One of the members of the Crown Prince's Guild said that the silver-level monsters dealt a lot of damage to many players. And it will be even more difficult with gold-level monsters. Jiang Chen's team arrived. The woman dancing under the moon turned to the boy. She said she knew he was strong, but you can't underestimate these monsters. Jiang Chen replied that she should not worry, that he would not act recklessly. Suddenly, the players shouted that the gate was opening. A bright light shone, and the chains that sealed the gate flew apart. At the moment when the seal was removed, Li San appeared in front of the gate and entered the middle first. Jiang Chen was puzzled by her appearance. The boy only managed to shout the girl's name. The dancer under the moon asked the boy if he knew that girl. Jiang Chen did not answer her. The guy just mumbled to himself that if there are no special circumstances, and on these words he rushed forward. He also entered the middle of the gate. Without any hesitation, Qing Ying and Tao Xiaotian rushed after Jiang Chen. Tao Xiaotian only shouted to Sister Yue that they would see each other later. The dancing under the moon herself understood that she had no choice. The president of the Shunthu Club asked who exactly dared to enter the middle of the gate. In response, it was heard that it was the priest's team. Wang Fa Guizong shouted at President Yan Luo that they must have gone mad. President Yan Luo himself calmly replied that that priest never thinks, and he could not do otherwise. The man noted that since that team went there by itself, no one should accuse him of cruelty. With a smug smile on his face, Yan Luo added that the demon suppression fragment they found earlier was slow-acting. Therefore, he will soon completely block the path of this team. Wang Fa Huizong replied that it was great. The man retrieved a fragment of demon suppression that blocked the gate for 5 minutes. He used this fragment to temporarily seal the gate. The president of the Dynasty Guild, observing this, noted that they had added fuel to the fire. After all, other players will also use fragments of oppression. One of his assistants also applied the fragment. Heavenly Vice Guild Vice President Qi Shi, who also had demon suppression fragments, said that everyone wanted to teach the priest team a lesson, so everyone would join in blocking the gate. All guilds wanted the priest's team to lose. Xiongthu Lenfeng, the president of Xiongthu Club, watched the actions of the other players and sighed heavily, and only added that it was too bad that the priest was locked inside the golden level gate, because now the boy would surely die. Meanwhile, inside the gate, Jiang Chen received a system message stating that he was infected with demonic energy. Therefore, for 1 hour, health regeneration effects will be reduced by 99%, and all attributes after death will be reduced by 40%. Jiang Chen was serious. He understood that the consequences of being infected with demonic energy were very serious. Girls appeared behind the boy. Qing Ying exclaimed that they were a team. The girl asked why the guy didn't wait for them. The dancer under the moon was displeased. She tried to convince herself that she was forced to do this. Jiang Chen smiled and replied that if so, then let them follow him. The boy thought to himself that fighting side by side was not so bad. Passing deep into the gate, the team saw a pack of demons. Li San stood in the air above the monsters. Jiang Chen couldn't tell if this girl was whispering something or singing to the demons. Suddenly, Li San reached out and cast a spell that was similar to Monster Riot. Jiang Chen shouted to the girls that the monsters were very excited. And the fact that they are infected with demonic energy attracts demons even more. System messages appeared stating that the gold level gate is blocked for 5 minutes because players used the demon suppression fragment. Then another such message, and then another and another. Jiang Chen was amazed at the number of reports that the gate had been blocked. The boy calculated that the gate would be blocked for 45 minutes. The way to retreat was blocked. He understood that someone wanted his death very badly. Jiang Chen shouted to the girls that in such a case, they would make their own way out. The guy told the girls to listen carefully and follow his commands. Qing Ying Tao Xiaotian and Moon Dancer clearly and unitedly supported Jiang Chen. In front was Li San, behind which stood a giant red dragon who, most likely, was the boss of this golden level gate. Under the monstrous roar of the monster, a huge number of demons in the form of wolves rushed towards Jiang Chen and his team. The boy instructed Tao Xiaotian to stand behind them, summon creatures, and restrain the monsters. The girl accepted the order. She found a high ledge on the ground and, standing on it, summoned her magical dog Dahun, which she sent to attack the demons. Jiang Chen then turned to Qingying. He asked the girl to take care of his safety and help him. Qingying, rushing to the attack, replied that the boy could rely on her. Then it was the turn of Dancing Under the Moon. Jiang Chen asked her to secretly protect them from the side. The woman replied that she would do her best. To herself, the moon dancer thought that she felt like she was in the same boat as the crooks. But now she had no other choice. After fending off the first demon attack, side by side with Qingying, Moon Dancer said that she would deal with the monsters from the sides and let the girl gather them together. Qingying agreed with her partner and added that in this case she would be able to do her job better. The next moment, with a beautiful swing, Qingying used the skill wave of light and was able to send the demon to the other world with one blow. The woman was stunned. She thought to herself, "Isn't this girl a monster slayer who hunts and kills them every day?" Qingying asked Yue to keep it a secret. The girl thought that they should become stronger in order to keep up with the master. Meanwhile, Jiang Chen watched the girls. About himself, the boy remarked that Qingying thinks he can't see or hear anything when he's fighting monsters. Then the boy, concentrating all his strength, commanded Qingying to bring the monsters to him. The girl understood the assignment and applied one of her skills. The next moment, she was rushing towards the priest with all her legs, leading a whole flock of demons behind her. Jiang Chen took out a magic crystal ball and cast a spell against the monsters. Small world apocalypse! All the demons immediately took massive damage and died. The boy praised Qingying for turning down the job. The girl teased in response that it couldn't be otherwise because he doesn't really know who she is. Qingying smiled and made a funny face. She said she was going to kill monsters, so she said goodbye to him. Jiang Chen began to think and said to himself that the small world apocalypse and the double blood loss spell would not be enough. Therefore, to begin with, he needs to deal with elite monsters. Tao Xiaotian informed the master that the creature she had summoned was barely holding on, and our pack of wolf demons surrounded Da Hong's dog. One of the monsters charged and bit Da Hong. Tao Xiaotian screamed at Jiang Chen in horror. The boy answered calmly so that she would not worry and calm down. Jiang Chen thought to himself that he only had half a minute left to suffer. Suddenly, a demon appeared behind Jiang Chen and rushed at him. But, fortunately, the moon dancer appeared in time and killed the monster. The woman reported that the stripes on the body of elite monsters are thicker than those of ordinary ones. She wondered if the boy could really do it. Jiang Chen also asked back, why is she still here and not moving on? The dancer under the moon looked at the boy and said that now he is her debtor. Jiang Chen thanked her with a smile. The woman asked what they should do now. Suddenly, Jiang Chen grabbed her by the waist and pressed her to him, asking if she was still thinking about his team at such a time. The dancer under the moon was confused, and the boy added that he wanted to show her something. About himself, he noted that it will be a skill, blinking. When Tao Xiaotian came by, Jiang Chen hugged the moon dancer tighter and said that he wanted her to see how it was done. The next moment, all three moved away from the demons. Dancing under the moon, although she was confused, she thanked the boy. About herself, she noted that the power of a mortal is much greater than she imagined. Jiang Chen advised Dancing Under the Moon to start by taking medicine to improve her health. As here, the demon attacked the boy again. The monster tried to attack him from the side, but Jiang Chen reacted in time and jumped up high and used the healing spell, so he got rid of the monster with one blow. Seeing this picture, Qingying exclaimed with delight that the boy is just a handsome man. A moment later, Jiang Chen was once again surrounded by a large swarm of demons. The guy gave the girl a stern look and told her to stop putting on a show. And it's time to use the shield. Qingying stood next to the boy. In one, they used two of their skills at the same time, which they practiced in pairs at the very beginning of the game. A gigantic whirlwind of magic spell combination was formed, which inflicted severe damage on all the demons. Jiang Chen opened the task menu and checked that his current score was 9288 and his total experience was 2322. The guy noted that the reward is high and worth the energy spent. Then the boy again asked the girls to follow his instructions and be careful, because they can't die. Tao Xiaotian and Moon Dancer supported him. Meanwhile, behind the Golden Gate, President Yan Luo was sharing thoughts with his assistant that the priest's team should have died by now. Wang Fa Huizong added that anyone who wires out has problems. And in general, that team was too young. And the president of the Dynasty Guild said that this would put an end to excessive arrogance. Xunthu Club's assistant president asked President Len Feng if he thought the priest's team would be able to hold out until the gate opened. They answered him that they would not last long with the battle. 15 minutes later, inside the gate, Jiang Chen's team continued to fight the monsters. Their total score was already 45288 points and the total experience 11322 points. The boys said that they finally got rid of the monsters. And when the girls shifted their gazes with him, Jiang Chen added that now there was only one thing left for them to do. This is a level 19 magical winged dragon. Dragon's breath skill. For every 10% health reduction, the dragon will emit a driving breath 20 meters forward. It will deal 200% damage and eat away 10% of your equipment's durability. Duration 5 seconds. Skill magic wings. For every 20% health reduction, the wings will cause a strong wind. It deals 300 damage. Attack and movement speed will be reduced by 50%. The duration of the skill is 20 seconds. The last feature of the boss is that the blood of the dragon in the body regenerates 1,000 units of life per second. Jiang Chen noticed that Lisan had disappeared. But seeing a jar of earth at the feet of the dragon, the boy realized that the quest items remained. Therefore, to begin with, it was necessary to kill the boss. Raising his staff, Jiang Chen told the girls that this boss's attacks were difficult to dodge, so they should keep their distance and not get distracted. The boy readied himself when the dragon approached him and launched one of his magical attacks. But Jiang Chen did not wait for the blow, but with the help of the flickering skill, he began to damage the boss from all sides with healing and small world spells. The dragon roared in pain. The next moment, the Pohlara used the skill, Dragon's Breath. Pungent purple smoke billowed from his mouth. Jiang Chen barely managed to dodge. The girls watched the battle and began to worry. They noted that such a dragon attack is very difficult to dodge, and it will soon reach the priest. A few seconds later, the dragon's caustic breath reached Jiang Chen and inflicted damage on him. The boy was glad that luckily he could use mana to restore his health. The woman dancing under the moon watched the boss closely and tried to understand what kind of monster it was. After regaining his health, Jiang Chen became enraged and used Small World Apocalypse. The dragon roared in pain. The boy decided that he would kill the dragon slowly and let the people standing outside the gate wait until he deals with the boss. The dragon roared with new power and next used the magic wing skill. Huge whirlwinds formed from the flapping of the dragon's giant wings and rushed towards the boy. Jiang Chen couldn't dodge them all, so he got hit. He understood that the damage from these vortices was simply huge, but luckily he has mana and absorb so he can block. The boy gathered his strength and also attacked the boss with healing and healing light spells. The dragon was again dealt quite a lot of damage. When 20 minutes had passed, the duration of the demon suppression fragments had almost run out. Jiang Chen understood that the gate would open soon. Then he combined the staff with the magic crystal ball again and used a double spell as he shouted for the boss to finally die. A huge flow of energy shot towards the dragon, who had already prepared to attack Jiang Chen. A bright glow flashed and a system message appeared, congratulating the killing of the gold-level boss. Total points, 85288, and total experience, 21322 points. C reported that the mortal player had reached level 19, giving him 2 attribute points. Jiang Chen was satisfied, because for this boss, you can get 50,000 points, a lot of experience, and rise 2 levels at once. The boy revealed his character's stats, where his level was 19 spells, 520, character condition 38, strength 38, agility 38, and intelligence 200. Seeing the power of intelligence, Jiang Chen thought that he could now kill ordinary players in a second. King Ying and Tao Xiaotian rejoiced and informed Jiang Chen that they had risen to the 18th level. Tao Xiaotian asked Moon Dancer what level she is now. The woman thought that she could not work properly with the members of this team, so she decided that it would be better to act alone. And Moon Dancer requested to leave Jiang Chen's team. Tao Xiaotian wanted to question her, but the Moon Dancer waved her off and said that they needed to get out first. Jiang Chen thought that the woman was very stubborn, but he decided to let her go when he got the loot. Meanwhile, the following items dropped from the dragon. A dragon staff that possesses demonic energy. It can be used only after cleaning. Properties are unknown. He was the reward for the first kill. Dragon helmet. Due to contamination with demonic energy, it can only be used after purification. The effect is unknown. A sealed skill book that had 3 stars. It could not be opened, so its effect was also unknown. Fusion stone. One quality can be combined once with basic equipment. Other features do not change. A system message appeared, indicating that it is necessary to take the glass jar to start the next task, and need to return that jar to Yindi. Jiang Chen concentrated and became serious. Mission accomplished, time to get out. Behind the sealed gate, the players began to worry as the streams of demonic energy began to dissipate. Someone decided it might be a bug. Someone mentioned that the door opens and it's strange. The Heavenly Court Guild president ordered his assistant Wang Fa Guizong to wait for 2 minutes. If nothing changes, they will send someone there. President Yan Luo then looked at the gate and asked if there was anything moving there. Suddenly, Dancing Under the Moon came out of the gate. The players at the gate were shocked that the woman was alive. They began to resent and ask, was this not a complete mission? Maybe in fact there is nothing terrible. Someone started to get annoyed. How did that happen? The dancer under the moon wanted to leave quietly, but she was stopped. He was the president of the Heavenly Court Guild. Yan Luo asked the woman if she was able to get out because she killed the priest's team. The dancer under the moon looked at him with displeasure and asked why she should talk about it. President Yan Luo also asked back if she didn't want to die from the demonic energy. Wang Fa Guizong pointed out that they had no ill intentions, that they just wanted to know about that team. The woman smiled and replied that if they wanted to bother the priest's team, then let them go inside and check. Wang Fa Huizong looked at Dancing Under the Moon with an extremely cold gaze and stern expression and asked if they were alive. The woman dancing under the moon noted how the man sneaked up on her. But she rudely replied that she had nothing to talk about with them. Wang Fa Huizong became enraged and launched his icy attack. He shouted at the woman that she would die because of this. Then a great and massive ice whirlwind hit the place where the dancer stood under the moon. As soon as the man managed to say that he was disappointed with the woman, how his health was damaged and blood spurted from his body. Dancing Under the Moon lived up to her title of killer. She was the first to attack Wang Fa Guizong in a flash. President Yan Luo raised his sword and asked the woman if she really wanted to insult him and the Heavenly Court Guild. He gave her one last chance. Be silent or die. Dancing Under the Moon was steadfast. She also threatened the guild president if he tried to touch her. Suddenly, Jiang Chen came out of the Golden Gate. He asked the surrounding players if it was possible to intimidate a girl like that with a whole crowd. The players at the gate were amazed. Someone confirmed that this is the priest. Some could not believe that the boy had entered the sealed gate and returned alive. And did anyone wonder how, with so many fragments, his team was not killed? A woman mentioned that it would start now. Jiang Chen thought to himself that it seemed like everyone was shocked at his return. Jiang Chen turned to the moon dancer and asked if she would inform the players that he had not left the gate yet. In response, the woman angrily asked what he was doing here. After all, the boy still had a mission to complete. Jiang Chen wondered how many people there were. The woman dancing under the moon shouted at the boy that there were too many of them. The guy did not answer her in voice, but wrote in a personal chat that she should return to the sealed gate. After all, it will soon be very hot outside its borders. Dancing Under the Moon was stunned. She also wrote to the chat, "Is the guy sure he can handle himself?" Jiang Chen replied that he could handle it. A little confused, "Dancing under the moon wrote that he didn't die. Otherwise, she would have to take revenge for him." Returning to the injured Wang Fa Guizong, the woman told them to consider themselves very lucky. And when the moon dancer passed by Jiang Chen, she wrote to the boy in the chat that she expected good news from the mortal. President Yan Luo turned to the boy in displeasure and said that he did not expect him to survive, and wondered what happened to the other members of the priest's team. Twirling his staff in his hands, Jiang Chen replied that they were outside the gate, and if the president was so interested, he could go in and see for himself. Yan Luo snapped that they didn't need to come in, that the mortal could summon the knight and the caster himself, then they would let him go. The president emphasized that the boy is just a priest. Jiang Chen said that they were members of his team, but he will leave them to die unless... President Yan Luo tensed and wondered, if only what? And the boy pointed at him with a cane and answered, if only the president will kneel down and call him daddy. Yan Luo was furious. He raised his sword and shouted at the boy. Does he want to die? Jiang Chen asked. Will the president be able to do it? The boy pointed out that with so many fragments of oppression, it's not just the Heavenly Court Guild that wants them dead. He said that anyone who wants to can try to do it. The vice president of the Heavenly Vice Guild, Chi, replied that 2 guilds would be enough to kill the boy. President Yan Luo added that the priest was too arrogant and ordered his guild to get ready. The members of the Heavenly Court and Heavenly Vice Guilds prepared to attack. Mages activated their magical skills, and warriors and knights charged forward for hand-to-hand combat. The presidents of both guilds shouted at the same time for their men to grab the boy. In the next moment, many magical attacks flew at Jiang Chen. The boy stood motionless. When all the attacks hit the target, a cloud of smoke rose, behind which nothing was visible except for the subtraction of 120 health points. Wang Fa Huizong shouted that the priest must be dead. President Yan Luo noted that the system notification of the assassination has not yet been received. When the smoke cleared, Jiang Chen was still standing in front of the crowd of players. His health is down to 50%. The guy apologized that he was still alive and noted that now it was his turn. He raised his staff up and, concentrated the magical streams around him. The boy cast a spell, Small World Apocalypse. President Yan Luo was amazed at the priest's strong skill, and Wang Fa Guizong was stunned by the speed and power of the attack. All players within the radius of the spell immediately received minus 1,300 health points. And this meant instant death for them. Only the president of the Heavenly Court Guild was able to hold out a little longer than the others. He angrily asked how the boy could do this. Was he really a priest? Jiang Chen gave Yan Luo a final blow and then asked if Yan Luo had any idea. When President Yan Luo went to the rebirth point, an item, the Great Blood Sword, fell out of it. Satisfied with his revenge, Jiang Chen said that the Queen's Guild would be next. The Crown Prince from the Dynasty Guild asked what the mortal wanted to do. After all, the Royal Guild had no enmity towards him. Jiang Chen knew that in his past life, in order to get rid of competitors, this guy conspired with other guilds and destroyed the main city of national services. You just want to kill such a person. But the boy restrained himself and asked the Crown Prince, "Isn't it too good here?" After all, he also closed the gate with fragments of demon suppression, and now he says that they are not hostile? The Crown Prince noted that the use of the demon suppression shards was for the mission, not the priest team. The boy asked Jiang Chen if he wanted to become an enemy of their guild. He suggested pretending nothing happened. Jiang Chen replied with an exaggerated expression to the Crown Prince that he thought they had lingered here. The Crown Prince became enraged and began to shout that the mortal was too insolent, that you can't disrespect the Royal Guild. He ordered his men from the third group to attack first and dislodge the priest. And there were enough archers and magicians in the Dynasty Guild. Jiang Chen noted to himself that he was standing far away and doing nothing. Therefore, it seems that he will only be able to reach the Crown Prince in one way. A bunch of different attacks flew at the priest again. These were fireballs and ice arrows and ice blows. But Jiang Chen skillfully evaded them all. Were the guild members startled by such unusual and serpentine movements? Someone noted with delight that this is the difference between professionals and ordinary players. When Jiang Chen stopped, there was only a small wound on his shoulder. The boy, with a proud smile, asked the prince if he had finished yet. The crown prince was furious and ordered his men to go into close combat, because this priest would not be able to do anything like that. After the order, the warriors and knights combined their skills in a group attack and prepared to strike the priest. Looking at them, Jiang Chen, with a relaxed expression, asked, "Who exactly wanted to face him in close combat?" Then the boy used the teleport skill. In the next moment, Jiang Chen appeared behind the Eastern Prince. When he turned his head and noticed the boy, he just had time to shout that they were retreating. But it was too late for him. The priest swung his staff and cast the small world apocalypse spell. In a second, only the objects that fell from the crown prince and his henchmen were left on the ground. The remaining players from other guilds were stunned. Someone asked if it was really a priest, since he was more like a god of war at the national level. Someone pointed out that the guy is too strong and is probably the best player. Walking through the pile of different weapons, Jiang Chen said that this was one of the best guilds. Therefore, maybe they will be able to ascend his magic crystal ball to the platinum level. Here, a member of the Maple Knight Guild approached the boy. He explained that they did not want to use the suppression fragments, but simply followed the others. The boy offered the priest to make peace with them. Jiang Chen replied that it was only possible if they provided 30 pieces of bronze gear and a list of guilds that used the demon suppression fragment. A minute later, the system notified about the contract with the Maple Knight Guild.